OTB, who's this?
This is Collin Fletchall live and in person in the OTB studios today.
You did great, kid. Collin's here.
What up?
Good day, mate.
That's true. I am here in person.
How do you feel about finally being on OTB?
It's been a long time coming, a very long time.
What, do you feel like you've been owed an episode or something?
No, it's just all I've been working towards.
You look a little nervous. Loosen up. We're
Yeah.
all friends here. We're all friends.
He's worth some
Do I got to lean back in my chair?
Now we're talking. There you
hey.
go. Hell, he's a natural. Something.
So,
Here we go.
you went to a race recently and did okay.
Oh, we're just jumping right into it.
What else are
Why
we gonna
not?
do?
I mean, sure, why
Are we
not?
talking about the Kingsville State Race or Cahokia? I don't know.
Or think bigger. Wetter?
How'd you do
Like the
at
women?
like Cass County Fair? Is that what you
That
guys
was-
were talking about?
Yeah.
That was actually a decent night of racing. 2 seconds, I think.
That pay big money?
Enough, yeah.
Hey, what did you end up making this weekend at Cahokia?
Money, you know. Are we looking? Do you want exact dollar figure?
Yeah.
680.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, and that is why you ride the A class.
Wow.
681 would have been your magic number.
That would have been, yeah.
That would have been a
I'll
lot.
give you $1.
And that was 680 was after expenses. Gross.
Okay, what did they hand you in an envelope when you went to the trophy stand?
It would have been 880
Yeah.
entry fees minus, that's where we get the
Yeah, no,
680.
okay, I just, actual, go, Mike.
I'm just going to time out for a minute. Can we back up? I have not followed up on the Cahokia State race this weekend. Did you win?
2 first, a second, and 2/3.
What 3 classes did you ride?
Saturday was
It was a 2-day race.
the 2-day.
Oh, that changes
double
everything
head.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
do you remember that one time that I was like, let's not talk over the top of each other? All 3 of you were just lighting up the mics with, oh, okay, yeah.
And all 3 go?
Go ahead.
Is it my
Not
turn
now.
now?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, wait.
Yeah.
Hold on.
258, 458 Saturday. 258, 458 open 2-stroke Sunday. I'm sure Jeff wants to add something to the 2-stroke.
I mean, honestly, the whole time that I was driving home, all I could think about was how, like, brokenhearted I am about motocross racing it's in the shitter. Honestly, it sucks. There's 202 entries on Sunday. It's a Missouri State race, an Iowa State race, and there's 3 A riders in the 2-stroke class, 4 guys in the 450 class, and 6 in the 250A class.
This doubled as an Iowa and a Missouri State race?
Yes.
Oh.
Dude, there was a lot of competition this weekend.
For events?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a busy weekend for that. Plus, people are trying to squeeze in a last lake weekend, shit like that.
Not that far away was Best of Midwest race. 4 hours away in
Fiddler Creek.
Fiddler Creek at Homer. Minimum $430 to win each class. And then ArchU had open prep practice. Do you know why ArchU doesn't have state races anymore?
Because they shit on everybody else? I don't know.
Because the state race rained out and then they scheduled something else or they didn't reschedule Steve, correct?
Yeah. No, it's because not only did they run races on top of Missouri State races, like not give in to the schedule. I mean,
Isn't that a rule?
Yes. Whenever you agree to race or hold Missouri State races, you say that's part of the. It's not a contract, but it's part of the agreement.
An unwritten rule.
Yeah, you let the Missouri State race run. You submit to it. And Archie wouldn't do that. And they also run prep practice weekends on the Missouri State races.
I think there's other tracks that have done that in the past.
No.
A prep practice? No, I'm talking about racing. Having prep practices?
RJ did Friday nights a couple times. And Steve did mention to him, hey, even if we're only talking 5 people that do both events, you still can't have it because we need to get those local guys to the races.
Dude, how about the picture I saw on Facebook today of Cahokia Mike,
RJ
and Steve
Alderman.
together? That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like
Legends.
a throwback Labor Day.
Yeah. But 250 novice had like 16 riders. The second,
Ooh.
yeah, and then 125 two-stroke had 16 also. It was the same size. So I was a little happy about that.
How was your electric class?
It was great. Thanks for asking.
No problem. Just curious.
Harley sponsored it, correct?
Harley funded the purse.
If you're gonna crack that, crack it into the mic, bro. You know how it goes. You guys don't even know how good that sounds in the headphones.
All right, so now that
I'm
we've...
just a hillbilly over
come
here.
on.
I can't
Are you
even
gonna-
open my own can.
The suspense, wow. So now that we've done that, let's back up a little bit. And there's probably a handful of people that don't know who the hell is sitting at our table here.
Collin Fletchall, number 142, Donnell's Yamaha rider.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'll ride anything. Just putting that out there.
Well, I know of a KTM dealership in Grandview, Missouri, located at 12501 US 71 Highway.
You've spent way too much time in your life there.
More than the only people that have been to Freedom more than me are the people that own the place. So anyway, Collin, so you went to Ironman and did really well in the 250F class.
To put it lightly, yeah.
I'm sure that the three of us have so many questions to ask you. So I'm going to put the power in your hands. Who would you like to ask the first series of questions?
Mike, we'll give it to you.
Look at that blank stare.
Or do we need to come back to you? We can come back to you.
No, actually, I have multiple. Okay. Was it even remotely fun? Take your results out of it. Was the race remotely fun? Well, first of all, how did you do? For those that don't know, how did you do?
18:33 for 22nd overall in the 250 class.
That was the first time you've made the show as well.
First time qualifying.
Okay, obviously you had a good time. Let's take all of your results out of it. Was that even remotely fun to ride around that track?
Honestly, it was a blast. In practice, sitting on the starting gate, and it just started pouring, and it was like, please, like, let it rain. And we were just out there splashing through puddles. You probably saw the picture on Racer X.
Oh yeah, plug it.
And that was me, yeah.
I can't
Plug that in there
I
now.
can't believe that you had fun in the mud and you had to get dirty. Did you just get over it at that point?
Yeah, I mean, might as well make the best of it. See, honestly, I was disappointed. Like, I woke up at 6 o'clock Saturday morning to lightning bolts, and it was like, you could tell that it was coming. And I was disappointed because I wanted to ride the track dry. But then once you get over that and you embrace it, like, 250B is going first. And if it's muddy, the track's obviously going to be the best for us.
You're plowing the way.
Yeah.
Okay, your brother was on the pit board. Could you even see it?
We brought a pit board, but no dry erase marker.
You just held the board out.
Power to the privateer there.
Didn't even bring the board because I'm not gonna look at it. If I would have known what place I was in, I would have locked up, threw the anchor out.
Do you really think so?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, 100%. That's what I would have done.
So you pull off of the track and your brother's like, do you know what you just did?
If you're talking about the first moto,
Yeah.
So like, you go under the bridge. There's like the little double, bigger jump, right hander, straightaway, left hander rollers, right hander, and then you go over the finish line.
I'm lost. Are you?
No, okay, yeah, I'm with you.
After you come out of the woods, there's this right hander. On the last lap, I went down and fell, and then
Was that your 5-minute 45-second lap time?
yeah, because I had to wait for a quad to come winch me off the track.
What?
Yeah, so I went down like on the edge of the track where they had gone out with the dozer and pushed all the mud, and then I couldn't push it. It wouldn't start. My bike wouldn't start. It had enough.
Yeah.
And so I had to wait for a quad to come winch me off the track. And then once I got off the track, I had to wait for somebody to come tow me back to the pits.
Because your bike wouldn't start.
Because it wouldn't start, and there was enough mud in between the wheels that they wouldn't spin. Like, we basically drug my bike off the track. And this whole time, they're waiting to start the 450 parade lap. So we're, like, literally holding up the show.
On behalf of Donnell's, I'm just going to say that wouldn't happen on a Honda, Suzuki, or Husqvarna.
The Yamaha does have Donnell stickers on it, though.
It does.
Okay.
I put the Donnell's logo on it in multiple places.
By the way, the graphics you did for it were super sick.
You like that?
I loved it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
The Rip and Ruts kit was on point, as they say.
It was a, if you will, lit kit.
I'm done.
Did you see the graphics kit with the blue fly gear?
It was, well, I saw it in photos before you went riding.
Lit.
Where did you start? Have you guys all seen Chad Reed start?
Yes.
Was that epic? That was an old man, like, that was like something that Jerry C. or Greg Garrison would have come up with.
Now, hold on. Before we start giving Chad Reed total props and pats on the back, after I quit racing and came back riding Dave LaFawn's 2011 KTM 450 in 2012, I went to Archview, same deal. Started pouring overnight, and then, we camped out, and we're like, dude, it's going to be a mudder. They did all right with the track. They prepped it up pretty nicely. It ended up being probably the best it ever was. And so the starting area, they had turned the dirt over. It's soup. And the inside gate literally points you into, like, no man's land. But the track comes out onto the start in an S corner. And I went very inside gate. Nobody was near me. Angled my bike like completely sideways and jumped out of the gate and went left onto where the beaten path was from practice and pulled like a 10 bike length hole shot because everybody else was just spinning out in the mud. So what I'm trying to say is,
You invented this?
I invented this. Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna punch him.
Nope.
I'm gonna punch him right
No.
in his dumb
You're
face.
trying to take this away from Chad Reed.
No, but how about the fact that, like, if that was a dry, like, if somewhat remotely dry, he would have been, like, docked for that?
Yes.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I think
I read something online that because they just let it go because of how muddy everything was.
I think they let it go because his name is Chad Reed,
And that.
and it was so epic because it was the whole circumstances, like Chad Reed, his last outdoor race, old guy, handed a bike the week before.
Yeah, they're going to let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah. He could have literally ran over 7 spectators, and they still would have been like, hole shot, Chad Reed.
Those people probably still would have went and asked for an autograph.
Absolutely.
Will you sign my tire marks?
I kid you not.
Oh,
At a Mo VMX vintage race, I watched Brad Lackey. There was a sweeper, like at the top of a hill, and I was sitting there with my mom, my sister, and my dad. And we were watching, and my mom was like kind of sitting up on top of the hill, and I was like, I don't know if I would sit there, and I don't know why. I just got this weird feeling. And my dad was like, you just need to chill out. So we moved down. Brad comes up the hill, doesn't even turn, goes straight through the banners, slams the side of this guy's car, caves the whole side of the car in, okay?
at a vintage race.
At a vintage race. But now wait. The owner of the car comes up and is like, no way, dude. Brad Lackey, the world champ, just totaled the side of my Cadillac. He's like, sign it, bro. He had Brad Lackey sign it, and he never fixed it.
That's awesome.
Yes. 3-rail trailer back on the back of an old school Cadillac is what it was.
What was Brad Lackey doing in Missouri?
Thank you. I was just getting ready to ask.
MoVMX there was like a span of 5 years. They had Brad Lackey come one year, Mike Bell came one year, Jim Pomeroy. I don't know what the situation was, like how they did it or whatever, but each one did like a school. You raced it.
Mike Bell and I battled. He was on a pit bike. I was on a KX65. Battled with Mike Bell. The Mike Bell.
Wow.
And Mike Bell's like 10 foot tall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Legs everywhere.
Did you beat him?
Yeah.
Beating Mike Bell, 18th at Ironman. Which one stacks up at the top?
Up until Ironman, Mike Bell took the cake for any racing accomplishment, but Ironman, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
he
next
gets the
level
win.
now.
Was that on your resume? I beat Mike Bell.
It was what everybody wanted to ask me about.
Right.
It was in your Hook It bio?
No, but probably cost me sponsorships by not putting it in there.
Yeah.
That's absolutely correct.
So you didn't know what place you were in.
No, had no clue. And so we'll go back. I was stuck on the track, right? They finally get me off. Somebody comes by in a side-by-side, no toe strap. And there's how many people running around on side-by-sides at a national?
All of them.
Everybody, right? And then so finally a guy comes around, tows me back to my pits. I barely get the bike on the stand. I'm talking probably 350 pounds at this point with mud. And my brother, meanwhile, is wandering around the pits looking for me. And he comes back and tells me that I got 18th.
You're like,
No
did
way.
you jump up and down?
I
Or?
believe my exact words were, "No way. Get out of here, guy."
Get out of
And
here,
is
guy.
this just you two? Just you and your brother? went?
Just me in Austin.
Wow, that's pretty rad. So then what?
So then we're looking at the bike, do we even try to go out for the second moto? And I'm pretty tired, just wore out. And I was well, I don't even know if it'll start because I couldn't get it to start on the track. Fires up first kick. So it
Probably just needed to cool down a little.
it's ready for more at this point. Raring to go. Raring to go. So then we head over to the wash stations, right?
Next joke.
Yeah. They were actually good ones at Ironman. Actually, we were using a power washer, and this Asian lady came over and yelled at me because apparently it was her personal one. So then we moved down to apparently the other ones. And we get done washing the bike, push it back to the pits. The air horn goes off. As in the air horn first call for the next 250 moto.
Yeah.
I'm still in the same gear that I wore in the moto, soaking wet. I'm walking around in water, it's squishing out of my boots. And then I've got to put a filter in the bike.
So after first call, you have what, 10 minutes?
10, 15 minutes, yeah. Scramble is
Mad dash. You needed 3 more mechanics.
pure chaos. Pure chaos.
That sounds like me between every moto yesterday, honestly. To an extent.
So tell us about the second moto compared to the first moto. So the first moto, you go out, you're swimming around in the mud, you get stuck, you got to get drug out by a four-wheeler, get back, wash everything eventually, barely make it into the line. Then what?
So we'll back up. I get down to staging, right, and they've got it blocked off. I really don't know what's going on because I'm new. I'm new here. Never made it. And there's all these factory guys like Jimmy Dakotas, Kyle Peters, some Husky guys that didn't qualify. They're all sitting over there waiting.
Team MTF.
They're all sitting over there waiting because they're trying to fill gates. They're trying to fill the gates for the second moto.
Right.
Because they started doing that this year. And so I roll up late, and they're all sitting over there, and then the lady, scans my transponder and pushes me on through, and I just kind of look back as I push my bike,
Yeah,
You gave Jimmy Dakotas the look
Yeah,
I made it.
How's this feel?
Yeah, I paid to be here.
Yeah.
It's
Because I'm just any other 3-digit guy that on a normal weekend goes out there in the B practice and cleans all the mud off the track for the factory guys.
Yep. And then finally the role was reversed.
Yeah.
I like that the the top 10 guys in time qualifying were straight out of B practice.
The track was that much better, huh?
Yeah. Like, I was, after practice, I came back, and Austin, my brother, told me I was 26th fastest in qualifying. I was kind of disappointed because I felt like I had gone faster. And so I'm sitting there thinking, like, okay, 26, there's 40 guys in A practice. I'm like 66. Things aren't looking, things aren't looking good at this point.
Full disclosure, I was sitting in my garage working on my bike, watching time qualifying, and I saw that you were 26th, and I thought, well, damn, maybe next year, you know?
My thoughts exactly. And like, so I had to pull my goggles off in practice, and I came around the finish line, and like, I like crossed the finish line, and they're like 1 minute left or whatever time qualifying. And like my last lap, I was throwing down a heater, you know, I'm like, I'm going to make it count. And so I'm like, feel like I'm going pretty fast at this point in time. And then I fall. And then I scramble. I'm like, don't let this, like, you might have a chance. Get back up. Like 3 turns later, crash again. And then it's at that point, it's over. Like, what's done is done. So I'm back in the pits, and I'm like, you know, well, shucks.
Yeah, let's load it up and go home.
Like, you know, whatever, it is what it is. We had fun. And then I hear, like, the announcers or whatever saying that Joey Savadaji's time, the fastest in the A qualifying time, is like 10 seconds off the fastest in the B practice.
Yeah.
And it's like, so we got a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance?
So where did you actually qualify at the end of everything?
36th, which is like got in by the hair on my chinny chin chin because they didn't. So before practice, they were having consolation races. Then I pull off the track, and they're like, no consolation races. Well, okay, that's fine. And then I find out, like, Bart was there, and I find out that he came by and was like, you know, you're 26th or whatever, like, you're probably in. And then I was 36th. And then they seed the top 10 in points in automatically if they don't qualify. And so I'm like, well, crap. Like, and then I'm trying to figure out how many guys from the A group, top 10 in points, didn't make it. If I would have been 37th overall, no racing.
Because they had they bumped in 4 guys.
Yeah, they
right?
bumped in 4 guys. So I was the last guy that got in.
Nice.
Just good enough.
So
Just
only
good.
10 guys out of the A practice were faster than you? No. Faster than the B practice? No.
Just in general.
Faster than him.
Yeah.
Yes.
You said it right the first time.
Yes.
I was 4 seconds slower than Eli Tomac in qualifying.
The feather in your cap is huge on that one. That's a peacock feather right there. Nice.
Yeah, Jeff and I were texting back and forth. A lot of all caps, even as we
Nope,
were
I
watching
mean-
the times
All I need to say is 4 seconds off Eli Tomac's time.
on a 250.
On a
even.
250.
And we can end the podcast right there.
Done.
Thanks for listening, folks. Monster Energy Kawasaki, Collin Fletchall.
Right there, hand in hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, actually, that they didn't call you before releasing the contract to Savachi.
I think had I maybe qualified for another outdoor national, I probably would have got it over him, but
Again, there's always next year.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get off Privateer Island one day.
eventually.
Whether you buy your way off or not, one way or another. So how many outdoors have you done this year?
Went to 4 this year.
Which 4?
Tennessee, Redbud, Millville, and Ironman.
You didn't miss anything at Southwick.
From what I hear, I didn't miss anything at all, Jeff. Do you want to go into more detail on that, or just leave it at that?
Go right ahead. I don't know what
His
you're
heart's
talking about.
broken, is what it is. Jeff, I think, are you crying right now?
It hurts.
Is that a cry?
I don't know what it was.
Okay. Can I ask a question?
No.
Elephant in the room. It's not really an elephant in the room. I just want to know. What is it overall, total weekend said and done, as a privateer, to go to one national? What does it cost? I'm not saying just entries. Like, what does your weekend cost you?
It varies. It depends on, number one, how far away it is. Number 2, where you're staying or who you're staying with. And number 3, what kind of rig you're driving. Like for me personally, it cost me less money to go to Millville than it did anyone else, except for the guys that were being paid, because I went up in my pickup truck that's a small block V8. So it cost me $65 to get there and back.
Did you just
fuel.
camp?
No, I slept in my truck.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, you didn't like stay at a hotel or
No, I just slept in my truck.
Okay.
Yeah. So it can be done under $500.
Collin, what do you think the Muddy Creek trip cost me?
Yeah. Can you tell us just ballpark how much it takes to get to Tennessee and back, Scott?
For me,
With and without a water pump in a
with
van.
and without a water pump in the van, it cost me probably $3,000 to go to and from.
It cost you
Tennessee.
$3,000 and a shoulder.
And a shoulder. So then add the medical bill, so like another $3,000 or $4,000 on top of that.
Yeah.
So we're talking between $6,000 and $8,000 to go.
Kingsville was racing that weekend too.
Just think you could have
Scott,
made your interview back.
Scott invested in his career that weekend.
Yeah, that
Let's
was
just put
it.
that
And
way.
actually, that's where the road ended. I would say on an average weekend to go to an outdoor national, if you're staying in a hotel and you're driving yourself or whatever, you're not sleeping in your truck, and say you're driving a van like everyone else in the pits that's driving themselves, you're probably what, $2,000? If you're driving 13 hours one way, 12 to 13. I mean, what? There's 4 or 5 nationals that are 12 hours from here.
Or less, yeah.
Or less, say in that ballpark, because I think the 3 I did were like between 9 and 12.
Oddly, Pennsylvania is only 12 hours away.
Right. And Muddy Creek, I think is further
It is. It's a
than
little
High
bit further.
Point is, and then Colorado was like 9 hours.
I meant to ask you that. Of all the nationals you could go to, you guys went to High Point?
I did.
You didn't go to High Point?
I didn't go. I wasn't ready.
But you were. I know you went to High, but that's only 12 hours away.
Yeah, that's why I went. That's what I looked it up on the map just because I was looking, and I'm like, 12 hours, I can do that.
When I saw High Point, Pennsylvania, I was like, what?
Okay, so there's Philadelphia, which you think of as Pennsylvania, right? And then there's Pittsburgh, which you think of as Pennsylvania. They're nowhere near each other. Pittsburgh is on the Ohio side. Philadelphia is on the New York side. Ohio is what? 8 hours away from here?
Ish.
And then another 4 through Ohio, and it's like you cross into Pennsylvania and
And you're at High
Point's right
Point.
there, yeah.
I stayed in West Virginia. It's right in the corner there of West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania.
And High Point is Coombs' track, right?
Which one? No, it's. I don't know.
They only own Ironman, to my knowledge.
I thought Muddy Creek?
I thought they owned Mount Morris. I thought they owned High Point because it's right there by West Virginia.
Maybe they do.
I don't know.
I actually don't have the answer to that.
Do
Okay.
you know Mr. Internet over there?
I don't know.
I could have sworn that.
Hold on.
I just know that the MX Sports Racer X
Conglomerate.
conglomerate. Conglomerate's in West Virginia. That's
Morgantown.
That's as far as my knowledge extends on that.
Can we just back up a second? Why did you just call him Mr. Internet?
Just because he usually knows all of the hot topics on the internet.
So you're like licking your chops over Mike's Hot Topics.
I haven't seen the piece of paper, so I wouldn't know what the hot topics are.
I'm not going to lie. Now, knowing that he's Mr. Internet, now I'm kind of nervous. Now I feel like my hot topics aren't so hot anymore. I feel like they're just lukewarm.
Okay, so here's the deal. Collin is a Pulp MX guy, a Steve Mathis guy.
So is my dad.
So
Didn't know you were a dick rider.
that's where that's
I was
Collin
waiting.
over
I was
there.
waiting for the truth to come out.
That he's Steve Mathis's cock holster.
Hey, now
Easy.
I'm not Alex Ray.
He is nice. By the way, did you see his bike got stolen?
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I think it's funny that we're all sitting here at a folding card table doing a podcast that maybe 10 people listen to, and we're making fun of Steve Mathis, who makes
A living off of.
A solid 20 grand for a 20-second ad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get out.
You didn't know this?
No clue.
I can't name the company, but it's somebody that we all know. His company pays pulp $20,000 annually, and they do a piece on there that, it's a small part of the show.
Not to mention all of the other names you hear of companies every 30 seconds on the show.
Where did we go wrong?
If it works, it's pivot. If it pivots, it works. That's the one thing that I know from the Steve Mathis show, is the pivot works ad.
I like the ads on DMXS.
I didn't know that. I've listened to like 3 of their episodes.
Can't do it. I can't listen to DMX
because of their accents.
Just the whole thing. I don't know. It's probably a lot like this, where there's no roadmap. It just
Free
goes.
roaming.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't like their show because of the accents, and they talk over each other, and they have a lot of inside jokes. I understand, like, if we did this every week, every Monday night, and it was 3-4 of us that, like they have, and it's a solid listener group, and those listeners get the jokes, or you have to go back and listen to the back catalog, cool. But, like, whenever I plug in and I'm listening to DMXS, and it's just inside joke after inside joke after inside joke, I'm like, and done 35 seconds in.
And here we are on Over the Bars podcast.
Well, we all just went over the bars on that one. Okay.
Not really. Do you guys ever listen to Church of Lazo on 96.5?
I can't tell you
Haven't in probably 10 years.
But you've listened to
I know,
it.
yeah.
And you've, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mike, on Church of Laszlo, they will go, and it's live on the air, at times they will go 30 seconds without speaking a word.
Just dead quiet?
Dead quiet.
They've got good elevator music playing in the background, though.
Yeah, it's like organ music, kind of like you'd experience in a church for the first, 15 minutes of the show.
I can't tell you the last time I listened to FM radio.
I listen to it every day in my truck.
Pandora is free, and you can choose what you want to hear.
I know, but there's just times whenever I'm just not ready to fiddle with my phone.
Phone fiddler.
You probably shouldn't, because you're also driving a FedEx truck.
That's a DOT
Violation.
violation.
Do you know what the fine is on that?
Like 10 grand, isn't
Yes,
it?
sir.
Yeah.
This guy's a safety guy. I would not talk about any dangerous maneuvers you do in a FedEx truck in front of
He
you.
doesn't work for me. Did you know Collin is also right now currently a student to be a safety major?
We got 2 safeties in here.
We've got 2 guys that make a living doing nothing.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's called management, Jeff.
I could have gone into it, but I don't. Again, not to bring up the same analogy, but I don't want to be FedEx's cock holster.
That's the same analogy.
I blocked FedEx on all my social media accounts, by the way.
So they can't see you.
Yeah.
You put them on
Snapchatting
your
as you go down.
graphics.
I know. Here's the thing: is like our company is super, super sensitive over where their logos, where their brand is used, because FedEx is so concerned about being like this goody two shoes service company, right? So like that's why anytime you see an ad or a commercial or whatever, it is the most clean cut looking individual that there ever has been in the FedEx uniform. And they're so smiley and happy and just happy to assist. Well, truth of the matter is, that's not delivery people.
When I think clean cut, Jeff, I think of you. If
Absolutely.
if I want somebody ringing my doorbell with a package, it's you.
Yeah,
See,
for sure.
I kid you not. Every day at this building, the post office comes in here. They drop off packages. UPS comes in here. And FedEx comes in here.
Yeah.
I've never had a FedEx driver come in that doesn't either have the equivalent of your bright teal glasses, like multiple tattoos, long hair, something like just free-spirited,
Yeah.
I'm loving life kind of guy. So that is the total opposite of what FedEx actually is.
And that's the thing. Like, if you go to our stations and see the personnel, we don't look anything like the commercials do. But FedEx portrays this image as like the friendly milkman in your neighborhood.
the last FedEx commercial I saw was on like World News Tonight of a dude throwing a package about 10 feet over a fence somewhere.
Not just any package, LED TV or something like that. Here you go.
Have you ever thrown a package, Jeff? I have. Have you ever thrown a package? 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 Have you ever thrown a
I'm not going to answer that.
Are you triggered? Do you need to go to your safe space?
Yes, I need a coloring book and I need soft music. No. Okay, let me just go ahead and clear the air since you brought up the fucking TV thing that everybody brings up. Everybody's seen it. It was an empty box.
It was for TV. It was like for a funny.
The guy that package was being delivered to repairs TVs. Whenever okay, it's kind of like suspension. Factory Connection sends you a blank box. You put the shit in that box, and then it goes back to them, okay? And then they fix it, send it to you, but now they send it to you with a return label so they get their box back, right? Same exact situation, except it's a TV box. And the delivery guy knows there's nothing in it. Let me ask you this. How many 60-inch TVs have you picked up with one hand? They weigh 120 pounds. That guy picked up the box and just lobbed it over the top of the fence. Unless he was Iron Man, there's no way to do that if the box is filled with TV.
How much did FedEx pay you to say that?
I got $213.
Speaking of throwing boxes, Mike, can you get these gnats or whatever they are under control in here?
I was informed
This is
by Jeffrey they are fruit flies.
this is a terrible work environment.
Safety, right?
Yeah.
You could be breathing these in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably harvesting eggs in our lungs right now.
Yeah, it's not so much the flies themselves, it's the fly farts.
Oh.
And we're all done for after this.
It's noxious fumes. Matter of fact, I'm going to call the OSHA Better Business BBB.
Are you going to be a whistleblower?
Yes, I am.
Snitch, whistleblower.
Well, we have a fly strip, but I've been informed that it's just a fly strip, and there is only one fruit fly on it. Or a gnat strip is what I have.
Yeah.
And these aren't gnats, they're fruit flies.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I once was a whistleblower on a job site, and I got fired for it.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
What, him getting fired or? Jeff, did you not at one time drive cars up and on to trains?
Yeah, I offloaded train cars.
Yes. Why did you lose that job?
I didn't lose that job.
I thought you lost that job.
No. I quit that job because I couldn't stand riding around in the shuttle van with a bunch of derelicts that were planning on stealing the cars.
You could have been a part of like a real life
Gone in 60 seconds.
Yes, yeah.
No, I passed on that. I was too young and I didn't understand what it meant to
You didn't want a life of crime?
I didn't choose the life of crime. The life of crime chose me.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah. But yeah, I did that for a minute. I'm surprised you remember that.
Yeah.
So do we want to get back to our guests of the show, or? I'm kind of sick of looking at him already.
We're
but-
just here to talk.
Okay, fair enough.
So, Collin,
Talk.
Are we back to dirt bikes?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Have you ridden an Alta?
I've not ridden an Alta.
let me tell you about
Everybody and their brother that I know has ridden an Alta, but me.
There's only one person in this room that's ridden an Alta.
and I'm an Alta shill. So I can't be trusted.
How good of buddies are you with the Bees Moto Lab guy?
Decent. We're friends.
Would he be willing to strap my legs onto an Alta and let me ride around and probably fall over at a slow motion pace?
I'm sure.
Didn't we talk about this last time, Mike? Sales. You're supposed to be getting better at this. By the way.
Yeah. Who's your agent?
Okay. Since you had to bring it up, so I emailed 3 of the places that you sent me. Mm-hmm. Not a single one emailed me back. And I'm like, okay. So then I go on their website. You sent me the fucking guy for Michael Cohen TV and Michael Jordan sports agent. He doesn't care about me.
I sent you a list.
He said I put together a list.
I didn't even
go to their website. I just literally just emailed them. Then I go to their website and look at who they were and the face of baseball. What's that guy's name? The guy
Mike Trout.
I don't know.
No,
isn't Michael
Aaron
Cohen
Judge.
Trump's guy going to prison or something? Or am I the wrong?
I don't know the news guys what I was talking about, but
Joe Buck.
Yes, Joe Buck.
Oh God, get out of here.
Joe Buck's face is huge on the first website I go to, and it's like,
don't use that
without whatever agency, I wouldn't be where I am today, courtesy of Joe Buck. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Jeff's trying to get me hooked up with this. So I sent him this email that says, "Hi, my name is Mike, and I like to announce the dirtbag races. And I think they could. I just want to go somewhere with my life." And I'm like, "There's no way I never got an email back."
You know what, Mike? I'm sure you've heard this before. You miss every shot you don't take.
But eventually, you run out of ammo.
Dude, just keep shooting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Google, there's like 60 pages to every Google search.
Now hold on. Let's pause.
Oh.
When I say you miss every shot you don't take, okay, everybody has a mental picture of them shooting their shot. Do you think of like trap shooting?
I guess that's kind of what came to mind. Yeah. Like I pull.
Pow! What do you think of? Like, what's the mental picture?
I fit it into the context of what the discussion's going on.
I actually see a basketball player.
See, it's funny because, like, when I think of, maybe it's because I'm addicted to memes, but I picture, like, you know how there will be items with text over it? I think of, like, me, my shot, and then the hoop is the thing that I'm trying to do, right? And it's you miss every shot you don't take. I just think of, like, doing free throws from the 2-point line. Every single time I use that analogy, I imagine, like, you are the thing and the ball, whatever. Sorry.
Okay. So where I was going with that was I just wanted to ride an Alta to see if I wanted to buy one or not.
Is there nobody in the Kansas City area that has one?
No.
I'm sure there is. We just don't know them.
We don't have enough.
None of our friends have enough money
to know them.
Yeah. I'm also going to need the demo version.
Yeah.
And I'm going to need a significant price cut on that.
It comes at a significant price cut if you buy the demo bike.
Perfect. But I'm going to need to strap myself onto it first to see how bad it's going to hurt.
I've got rope.
That's all I need.
Duct tape.
I'm not kidding you. My last bike that I had, I used dog collars.
Do you remember, I don't remember what video game it was, but the commercial of Toby duct tape to the bike?
Yes.
Oh, MX Unleashed or whatever. Yes.
That was me.
Yes, over the helicopter.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Are you ready, Toby? No! Go get him!
Yep.
Can we reenact that when we get an Alta for him?
Mm-hmm. And you go into map 4, too. No questions asked.
Okay.
Full send.
I'm ready. I loop out right as you guys let go.
So, September, whatever the day is, we're into September, and every year there's always some stupid thing that people say that turns into a common terminology within our...
Pumpkin spice latte.
No. Send it. Full send.
Like a catchphrase?
A catchphrase, yes.
Slay, whatever stupid shit they
Slay
can come
was
up
last
with.
year.
Oh,
Slay
was it?
last year.
Okay,
Yeah, this year it's send it. We're going to have another one next year. But I mean, like, whenever I see people hashtagging their shit, and it's like my friends or even worse, the people that I sponsor with Ribbon Rides, if you're putting those fucking... Kevin Moran's used to do the Slay thing. And, like, he was hashtagging Slay and putting the crossing swords on his posts. I'm like, dude, if you're going to come on my goddamn podcast, you are not slaying. That's social media. I don't know.
When you see it, do you throw up in your mouth a little bit? Okay.
Yeah. And so
Which catchphrase do you use, Colin?
I don't use any catchphrases.
he's phraseless.
Phraseless.
He just is
He is a catchphrase.
a walking catchphrase.
He's just a walking catchphrase.
I'm
Like-
going to start saying hashtag Collin Fletchall.
Yeah, exactly. He is a hashtag.
His own.
His own.
Fletch
He
it.
himself.
Fletch
It
it.
used to be, Flexall or something like that. I
Did
don't
you used to be
remember.
ripped, bro?
Not at all. Scott just thought it fit with my last name, so it stuck. But that's
And he was doing like workouts.
that. But then we'll have to, if we talk about the nickname, then we got to talk about Scott and how he was just ripping Sweet 16 on this KX 125.
True story.
Until the rear wheel welded itself to the axle and
True
just
story.
cried buckets of tears all the way
The
home.
bike was like 3 hours old. I had just bought it. It was heartbreaking.
So did the bearing seized up? or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing, the whole rear wheel just basically hub and everything.
I've
just
never
kinda
seen a man
just-
more disappointed in my life than that day.
I was bummed out.
How hard was it to get the axle out?
It was impossible. I think I had to cut it out or something. I couldn't even do anything. We beat it out. I think.
No, we beat it like you hit it with a hammer and it budged a little bit, and then
it was
all hope
done.
was
I don't
lost.
remember.
And we ran out of gas on the way home.
That was kind of on purpose, though. We knew we were cutting it close. We were trying to make it off the turnpike. By the way, Sweet 16 rode this weekend. I think they're riding.
They're riding
probably
next
right
weekend
now.
too. Are you ready? They're riding September 8th. Are you ready to get back on the bike, Scott?
I wish I was. I wish I was.
Talking about inside jokes, what are we talking about right now? What is Sweet 16?
Who are you?
It's Mike lives under a rock and doesn't pay attention to motocross.
What is Sweet 16?
A track in Muskogee, Oklahoma.
Super sick.
Super sweet.
Super sweet.
16?
Sweet 16
It's on Highway 16 in
Oh,
Oklahoma.
okay.
Yeah.
in Muskogee, Oklahoma.
I keep telling you guys when you guys go to these places to text or call because I'd like to ride along.
Well, I mean, I haven't. The story he's talking about is from like 2013.
Well, in 2013, you should have texted or called.
You're right. I should have. You know what? Moving forward from here, I will.
Okay, thank you.
Now, mind you, you're not going to get that text or call for another 8 months from Scott.
Right. Yeah, we're talking 2019 before you get a call.
That's
from
fine.
me.
I need to prepare myself.
But, yeah, you need time.
Start packing my bags.
Yeah.
Now, here's part of the key to going along with us to the races, Mike.
Okay.
You actually have to text us back.
Oh.
I think that's a deal breaker for him. Look at the look on his face.
Let me think about it then. Let me talk to my agent and I'll see what we can do.
Yes, he's learning, Jeff. He's
Look
learning.
at him. Can you guys believe we've been doing this for 47 minutes already? 2 more hours to go.
We're just getting started.
Yeah.
We're just heating up.
Any more that you would like to add about your Ironman feats?
I don't know. What do you want to say? Yes, it was muddy. It was.
Question.
Yes.
The other nationals, you rode the 450 class. Mm-hmm. Was this the only one you rode 250?
Only one I rode the 250
Do
class.
you like
yeah.
the 250 class better or the 450 class better?
The 250 class is better because in the 450 class, like, there's 50 guys in B practice. Would you say, Jeff, 50 guys?
No, really, there was. They'd run 45 and 50, yeah. Riders.
So why did you ride 450 at all the other ones?
Because I'm fat.
What do you weigh?
195 on a light day.
You know, I'm like 6 inches shorter than you, and I'm over 200.
I weighed in at 196 this morning.
It's all gristle missile.
Accurate. Bullseye.
The look on your face right now is, damn, I've been outed.
Damn it.
Now you're going to have to get a stick to beat off all the female OTB listeners.
All one?
We don't even have one.
No, not even that.
Is Aubrey or Callie listening?
She listens sometimes.
She might have 1.5.
She listens when it's Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Callie will listen when it's Facebook Live, but
So
if it's
does Aubrey.
not, then she doesn't really care.
Brittany does not listen at all.
That's fine.
She won't do it.
It's more time she has to hear your voice. She's
Right,
probably
that's what
sick
she
and tired
says.
of it.
She
Yeah.
goes, I have to listen to you all day long. Why would I spend my time away from you listening to you more?
Nailed it.
Especially talking about this stupid shit.
Yeah.
So,
I was just going to say, speaking of that, she wants to ride a dirt bike. She said, I can get an Alta as long as she can ride a dirt bike. And I said, no.
you keep your filthy hands off of my Alta.
She's like, I just want to ride a dirt bike. I'm like, no, that's a terrible idea. She grew up racing Banshees.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, no, it's totally different. You don't understand. She's like, no, I'll be fine. And I was like, no, you won't be fine.
She can ride a dirt bike.
I see it going so bad. I see this.
Just get your camera out.
Into the fence.
Yes.
Everybody always rides a dirt bike
Into
into
a
a
fence.
fence. Yep. Yeah, most people's first time on a dirt bike ends with them pulling their head out of their neighbor's yard.
You taught Aubrey how to ride, right? Or did she know how to ride before that?
No, I coached her through it.
So she can ride.
She can ride.
Can Callie ride?
No, no. She should be able to, considering who
that's-
her dad is.
I
and
think that's by design.
it's not. Callie has a hard time driving.
Okay.
What woman doesn't?
No, I mean she's totaled 3 different cars.
So you're saying,
Two since I've known her.
So you're saying that, like, staying at home for work is
It's a very
by
good
design.
thing. Yeah, by design, yes.
Dude,
Accurate.
Aubrey's totaled 3 cars too.
Yeah.
I literally have no room to talk. I've never totaled a car, but sitting at a stop sign, I literally was 2 cars back, and I was like, I'm tired of waiting. These people, they're trying to turn left. I'm going to turn right. This is 25 feet from my house. I've lived there for almost 15 years of my life. I'm like, I'm just going to go around them on the shoulder. So I pull off on the shoulder, but there isn't a shoulder. It's just a ditch. And so I just dropped the truck off, slow motion into the ditch, and the rear wheels were off the ground, and I was just sitting like this.
High-sided?
Yeah.
Or high-centered?
Yeah, and because everybody behind me was like, look at this douche that just pulled off in the ditch, nobody helped me. So I was just sitting there like,
Did you
rocking back and forth.
yes, exactly. Trying to just, yeah.
So did it work? Did you get out?
Actually, I did.
Did you engage 4-wheel drive?
Well, the funniest part was I'm going to tell you the whole story. My parents were like 3 cars back. And so when I did it, my dad turned to my mom and said, what is this idiot doing? And my mom was like, oh my God, that's Michael. And I look in my rearview mirror, and here comes my mom running down the highway. And she gets to my car, and she's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I just drove off into the ditch. But it was like it wasn't like a high-speed wreck.
It was like I just had a heart attack behind the wheel looking
Yes,
thing.
exactly. So my mom's panicking like something happened to me. My dad comes walking down there like hiding his face like, what are you doing, you idiot? And then there's a semi-truck behind me, and this guy's like, well, I can't get out. Exactly. So then I don't remember who it was, but somebody jumped on the back bumper and were like jumping up and down, and I had it in 4-wheel, and I was like, and then I backed out onto the road, and then I just drove away like nothing happened. Like, all right, thanks, see ya.
How recent was this?
It was that truck, and I've only had that truck for 2 years, so
Okay, that's just what I wanted to know.
yeah, it was pretty recent, yeah.
You were an adult man making adult decisions at that time.
Absolutely. I also, when we left the RC track in Omaha, we went to McDonald's, and we were leaving, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to pull over before we get on the road. Let's just eat here, and then we can go. And so I pulled up into this parking spot, and they just built like this brick wall, and I was like, and then like the brick wall falls right in front of us, and then the whole entire brick wall, the whole landscaping went down, and I just was like, whatever. So I just sat there and I ate it. And then I'm also the same guy at Hy-Vee that I was backing up. Keep in mind, I have a backup camera. I was backing up to a pole, one of the handicap poles that has like a little wheelchair guy on it.
Yeah.
But it said something different, so I was reading it in the camera, and I was like, what does that say? And I just kept getting closer and closer, and as I was reading it, I was like, donk! And I hit it and just laid it over, and I was like, oh, shit. Wow. Yeah. Don't ride. If we go on a trip, don't ride with me. Don't let me drive.
Okay. I'm taking notes. But he's got to text back first.
Bang my line.
My driving is worse than my texting.
Really?
That's really bad.
Yeah, it is really bad.
That's really bad.
Do you text while drive?
No. First of all, I got 2 hands. Everybody asks me this. Why don't you answer your phone while you're driving? Well, I don't know, because I've got one hand on the steering wheel, one hand on this contraption that goes gas brake, and then at the same time I'm juggling a remote in my lap that lifts the chair out like a tow truck. So it's like...
It's like you guys were making fun of me for having headphones when I walked in.
Does the gas brake thing have a cruise control on it?
I use the cruise control, so I learned that the cruise will only engage at 24 miles an hour or faster.
Yeah.
So I use it anywhere that I'm doing 24 or more.
Yeah.
All the time.
I do that sometimes. Not all the time anymore, but I used to all the time.
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Peyton Adams, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Peyton does not use cruise control, period. And he's one of my least favorite people to go ride. I love going riding with him unless he drives.
Because you're doing 80 downhill and then like 25 uphill?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that shit, I don't get car sickness, but
Until
you go
you do
fast and
something like
slow,
that.
fast and slow. Yeah. I'm like, bro, just throw on the cruise control. He's like, we're not going far enough. Like, what, 2 hours on the same freeway isn't far enough?
That reminds me of a time I went on a trip with Alex Minturn. We drove to Cooperland in like January. It was like 20 degrees out, you know?
Of like, what, 2007?
Longer. 2006, maybe
Okay.
5, something like that. Anyways, his van didn't have cruise control. And so you would just drive until it hit the limiter, So you'd hit like 90, and then it would just move back off a little bit, and then you'd be right back. And so you'd find that sweet spot at like 88, and then you just try to hold your pedal right there. But your cruise control was your rev limiter. So, but it would do you'd be, say you fell asleep, and because you're running that same speed. Next thing you know, you're rocking forward and waking up because
the van's in the median and you're hitting the guiding rails.
Also that. I was mainly a passenger. But the time we ran out of gas coming home from Sweet 16 was relatively by design. Okay.
We had gas with us.
We knew
it was like quick pit stop, back on the road.
But we were trying.
But the White Stallion did run out of gas.
Yeah, we were trying to make it off the turnpike, back to off the turnpike, right into Joplin, where we could stop at the world's biggest truck stop or whatever. And we're the T-shirt mecca of the world, where we used to get our T-shirts all the time.
World's largest McDonald's.
Oh, whatever.
Is that what it is?
No, that's
No,
that's
that's different.
Somewhere else.
Oh,
That's in Oklahoma.
I tuned out and I wasn't listening.
It's fine. That's fine. I'm done with you, Jeff. That's fine.
I was thinking about putting the Hot Topics music in, and okay, I have 35 things on my mind while I'm doing this.
Right.
Okay. I'm thinking about Mike doing Hot Topics and handing him the headphones so he knows when to jump in. Right?
Right.
And then you were telling this
some bullshit story about
fable
whatever.
about some place.
Can I add? I just have one thing to add about Iron Man. So, you know how Supercross, you like go to Supercross, and probably half the people there have no clue what's going on, never ridden a dirt bike before.
They're just spectators.
Right? And the other half are like actual fans. And like motocross, most of them are actual fans, right? Mm-hmm. So, Moto 1, I used roll-offs off the start. Didn't really work out. I didn't even make it the first turn before they break, right? So
that's
I
why you
pulled
don't wear roll-offs.
Look, it was what?
I'm surprised you own any. But
I got hooked. No. I went and bought 2 pairs of brand new goggles. This adds to the story. But 2 pairs of brand new goggles. Went 100% guy hooked me up. Benny went and talked to him. Was like, help my struggling friend out. Poor privateer. Poor me.
Poor college
right?
student.
Yeah. I'm gonna play this card as much as I can. Right. So he gives me like 2. He puts tear offs and like hands me a bunch of roll offs and stuff like that. So I don't even make it the first turn, they break. So I do the whole first lap with goggles on my arm because I had to take them off. And then so I put on an older pair that I had, and I had
in a pit stop.
Did a pit stop. I was able to find my brother in the mechanics area. Imagine that. I didn't even know how to get to the mechanics area. I just kind of pulled off the track and where I thought, like before the mechanics area. It's my first time. It was my first time. And then, so I get back out there, and then I run out of tear-offs. So I've got them dangling on my arm. And then eventually I just got tired of it. So I ran off the track before, like a couple turns before the finish line, and there's toss them into the crowd. They go crazy. I mean, air horns, and they're yelling for me. Like, probably there's qualifying for Ironman and racing, and then this moment, like inside that moment, is number 2 on my list. They went nuts for like these goggles.
So imagine that every lap the entire time that you're riding, just because you're on a 2-stroke.
I just wonder what it's like.
Well, now you know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your moment.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
After the second moto, I was riding through the pits, and this little kid comes running up to me and is like, "Hey man, can I have your goggles?" Sorry, bud. I actually do need these. You do not know who I am.
At Millville, I had some kids ask, "So, how about the plastic on your bike?" And I was like, "No. I just bought that plastic."
Full retail, correct?
Yeah.
Full retail for this plastic. Like, sorry, buddy. You're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah. If you want to give me $220, then we'll talk. Sure, you can have it if the price is right.
I haven't had anyone ask me to do anything but leave, so that's fine.
Kindly leave, sir, before I get too mad to turn back. Really though, there were times on the track whenever I was riding, and that people would be air horning and shit, and like hanging over the fence. And I'm like, who's about to pass me? And then,
get out of the way!
Really, yeah. And then Yeah, and then at Millville. Did you get to ride in A practice?
I watched.
Oh, no.
I watched you from the starting line, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Brent. No. Brent Rouse did. He got put in A practice one weekend, but it. Honestly, I think I would have rode better in the B practice.
A lot of times in the 450 class, I think your B practice is the better option.
Because you don't get run over.
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah. Well, no, because that can still happen.
Yeah.
But just usually track conditions most of the time, I
Right.
want to say it's a better spot to be in, at least for your first session.
It can be, yeah, for sure. I don't know. There was something about it where I was like, in my mind, I was like, I have to go as fast as I can, but I also need to stay out of the way.
Oh, when you were in A.
Yeah.
Gotcha, yeah.
And it's not so much that I was like, I'm slow, I'm in the way. It's that I'm on a bike that's 20 horsepower down, and I don't go out of the corners as quickly as everybody else.
Did you guys jump the big uphill double thing?
At Millville?
Yeah. The one after the big off camber, and then you come up. Was it sick? I don't know. I didn't get a race that one.
I couldn't, no.
No?
I hit it Saturday on the 450 and Sunday on a 250.
Like a madman.
So Stank Dog jumped it one time, and I consulted with him after the first practice. I was like, hey, did you do the big triple? And he's like, one time, he's like, my bike is a lot faster than yours, and I weigh less than you. Don't do it. I was like, okay.
It was scary. It was scary.
Yeah, because you're just leaping into the unknown, basically.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you didn't hit, there's the little double before it. If you go just a skosh too far off that, then you don't clear it. Because in the consolation race, the times I did jump it, I 2.5'd it, basically. Not fully 3, 2.5, but rode it out.
So obviously Ironman was probably your biggest accomplishment, your most fun, whatever, the coolest deal. If you take that one out, which one was your favorite of the 4s you did? Or is Ironman your favorite? It couldn't really be your favorite because it was a swamp. You're just swimming around in the mud.
If I wouldn't have qualified, it wouldn't have been any fun.
So then what was next in line?
Next in line would probably be Millville because I rode the best. Tennessee was the first one. You're just there. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm here.
Not to mention all the fun we had trying to get there.
I was glad to just make it to the actual track.
Yeah, that was
And then Redbud was a disaster.
It's kind of weird how your first one, you're kind of stoked just because it's your first one and you're all like, you're just amped to be there and be a part of it. Then the second one, you slowly have these expectations that you don't tell anybody else about. You just have them on yourself, a little bit of pressure on yourself.
You tell yourself, oh, I'm just going to go and see how good I can do. But in the back of your mind, you're like, if you don't qualify, you suck. At
Right.
riding a dirt bike, you're a failure.
And you just drove 10 hours and spent all this money and you put all this pressure on
spent
yourself.
$1,000 for 30 minutes of practice. These are the most expensive practices you will ever get in your life.
That's 100% true. And they're not even good practices. Like
No.
It's not even cool.
So it's kind of like when you go on a road trip with your buddies to a go-kart place, and then you pay $150 for 2 10-minute sessions on a go-kart track.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever done that?
I mean, I've just to NASCARs in Olathe. You then became Saddlers,
Which
but
now
it wasn't
closed.
that expensive. It's now closed, which is like a total bummer.
I
But-
just went on a bachelor party.
Oh yeah,
And I didn't do the go-karts, but we drove 4 hours. Well, we went to St. Louis. So we went to St. Louis, and then while we were there, we were like, hey, let's all go ride the go-karts.
where at?
Gateway.
Oh, like outdoor go karts,
Yeah.
like shifter carts,
Yeah. No.
just go
Just
karts.
normal, yeah.
Gotcha.
But at Gateway they have, but we went all that way and they paid a whole lot of money for 10 minutes of track time, which they could have got at Paradise Park.
On a go kart that you can run faster than.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's because it's funny how, like you said, Redbud was your second one, right?
Yeah,
so,
Redbud was the second
so
one.
you put these, and then and Southwick was Jeff's second one, and so it was your worst one by far because of these subconscious expectations you put on yourself, and it's just kind of funny that we've all kind of had that same experience from it.
Yeah, because you go and you're like, okay, I know what the program is. I
Right.
know where I should be. And, you get the nervous jitters out of your way, but then it ends up being,
Just a big reality check.
yeah.
Was there that one guy for any of you that at one, like the first one you went to, you were like, I could beat that guy. Then he was at the second one again. You're like, I got to beat that guy. Like, does that make sense?
Not in specific, no. I was that guy for Brent Rouse, though, because I don't know why, but they took a liking to me, and they, so Brent and his brother Dane, two guys from California that did all the outdoor nationals this year, and Brent and I, at the 4 races that I did, every single one of them, Brent got a better start than me, and I passed him. And it was like, it became a chip on his shoulder where he was like, I can't let the FedEx guy beat me again.
Does he work for UPS?
No, no. But it just, it would get old having the same guy, regardless of what bike he's on, pass you 4 times, after getting a better start.
Ask Marvin Muscan.
Yeah, for real. So I was that guy for someone, but I didn't have someone to be that guy for me.
A lot of times the guys you see out there are local dudes, and you don't really know who they are unless they were a standout at Loretta's one year or something, or this or that. But if they're paying their way like we do to get there, it's usually you don't know who they are just as much as they don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Unless you're Jeff and you write in Transworld and blah 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 blah.
You've got people asking you to run their products, and they're like giving you stuff, and you're like, no, I've got competing deals with this company or
I've
whatever.
got Mika Metals. It gives me 25% off. So Mika, whatever.
What's it like? Tell us.
I don't know if I even want to give you guys any type of validation with those.
Last time you
kind of
disclosed
jokes.
anything about your sponsorship, it led to a bigger sponsorship because you got in so much trouble, which doesn't make any sense, but that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, so maybe I should just start exposing all of my deals.
Yeah.
I'm just busting your balls.
Well, by now I don't have any.
Good.
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 You're a bitch. Should we go into hot topics?
Yes.
Okay, pause.
Only on Over the Bars podcast will you find hot topics ranging from motocross to remote control cars. This is Hot Topics. Hot Topics are presented to you by our Patreon subscribers. Go to patreon.com/overthebars to pledge today. Donnell's Motorcycle, 816-478-9393. Bar to Bar MX. Ride on. Straight from the deep mind of Mike Garrison to the notepad. This is Hot Topics only on Over the Bars.
My God. That is going to be in people's ears.
That is my notepad. Hot topics. All right, so we're starting with number 1.
Okay.
Dun dun dun.
Puerto Rico, Ronnie Mack kicked off the team. What is everybody's first thoughts?
I think that he was never going to be on the team in the first place.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it was just a ploy.
Okay, Colin?
So you mean to tell me cut off fenders, overalls, cut the chin bar off your helmet isn't going to race the Motocross of Nations? Is that what you're telling me?
Surprisingly, yes.
Color me shocked.
I just think Puerto Rico's investments in motocross just got cut in half. That's what I think.
I still don't understand what you mean by that.
They're raising money for Puerto Rico to
We know what they're doing.
right. But I think less people are going to buy stuff for it now than they did before.
Do you think that people really are... Okay, they release the information. Ronnie Mack, Pastrami, and Sipes, okay? Big news, right? They released the video,
Bingo.
okay? Everybody knows. The merchandise is for sale. Go to ronsontop.com. Do you feel like the sales were consistent for up until just now whenever they said...
In the first week, they raised like $15,000.
Okay, now to say that they're going to raise less money because of Ronnie Mack not being on the team is like saying people are still continuing at that $15,000 a week deal. It's not. Here's what happens whenever you release product. You have a peak, and then it shoots down massively.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking overall.
I don't think it makes a difference. I think the people that are going to buy the Ronnie Mack Puerto Rico stickers.
And by the way, to me, the whole Ronnie Mack deal totally goes against the entire image of Ronnie Mack anyways.
So you're just saying, think about the kids in Puerto Rico that are they're taking money out of these poor kids' hands.
Yeah, that's it.
What
That's the first
BFIM is doing. Think about the kids, folks.
No, I didn't think it was even, to be honest, it's a real deal, but all in all, I really didn't think it was going to be a real deal anyways. They're not going to ride two strokes.
They're not?
No. Well, Pastrana just put up a big thing on his Instagram about how much better riding the 450 is. Wyndham is only riding a Honda 450 right now and all his stuff.
Yeah,
Honda would be the last company that would put a guy on a two-stroke.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So they're not going to ride two strokes. Sipes isn't. He's going to ride whatever the team decides to ride with because he rides for Husqvarna.
Yeah.
So they're going to be on 450s. They're going to be in the B main. It's going to be cool to see them all riding, and that's about all there is going to be to it.
Has anyone at this table bought anything from RonsOnTop.com?
I did.
Did you buy an I eat Puerto Rican ass sticker?
That wasn't available when I went to the store. No, I went. It's like the day that they released it. I was like, well, I'll just check it out. And I got some circle stickers that said Mac, Sipes, Pastrana, 2 strokes plus 30, and then had the Puerto Rican flag. And then I got a koozie or a hat or something. But
have you got it yet?
No, because the product doesn't. It says the product doesn't print until like September 5th or something. So,
are they changing the product now that Wyndham's there?
That's a good question.
The stickers or the logo's different.
Who even knows like what's going to show up at my doorstep?
Right.
Does Ron have anything to do with this anymore?
No.
Well, it's Ron's on top.com.
No, that's changed.
Who is Ron?
It's like Team Puerto Rico.
Oh.
Who's Ron? He just said it.
We're not going there.
Who's Ronnie Mac?
So Ron's done. Let's talk about the guys that are on the team.
That's what my next hot topic. What a transition. Is that your good arm or your bad arm? I need you to be careful.
Yeah, I can't raise the bad one up.
Kevin Wyndham. Did you guys see his video?
Yeah.
Oh, the running one?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That was pretty epic for a guy that does nothing on social media, nothing.
I don't even think he has an Instagram.
I don't even think he has a computer.
I
mean, I was like, that was genius. But you were talking about with the merchandise stuff, as it starts to fall off, you bring Kevin Wyndham on. I feel like if there is merchandise to go along with the Kevin Wyndham thing, I feel like it is shot back up. I'd rather watch Kevin Wyndham ride at the MX Nations than I would Ronnie Mac.
I have heard, again, this is
hearsay. Allegedly.
This is what OTB does. I had heard that the original team was Sans Sipes, add Stank Dog.
Who?
Stank Dog.
He would set all kinds of records in the drug tests.
Yeah.
Also
overload.
accurate.
Yeah. But I guess that that the original team, whenever they first started talking about the idea, was Stank Dog, Mac, and Pastrana. But then they brought in Sipes and kicked Stank Dog to the curb. Which honestly, if I'm being honest, I think that was a mistake.
You think so?
Yeah. I'd rather see Stank Dog ride than Wyndham.
Oh, that's so.
I disagree.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Look at this guy's shirt, man.
I'm wearing a Kevin Wyndham shirt right now.
To each their own.
You want to watch Stank Dog ride because that's like you riding. When
Kevin
you watch him, you're
Wyndham
like, ooh, look at me go,
is
only faster.
A Honda 450 shill. Okay, he's a 4-stroke guy. I don't, he's the reason they don't ride 4-strokes.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
or 2-strokes.
You can still watch Stank Dog ride. Like, he still rides.
You can still watch Kevin Wyndham ride.
Yeah, but it's just he's just such a flowing. I don't know.
Hot topic or quick
topic?
Yeah, quick topic.
Okay.
In a 5-lap race at a track neither of them have been to, who wins? Kevin Wyndham or Stank Dog?
Wyndham.
Stank Dog.
I think Stank would win.
No way.
don't think
I'll
so?
agree with the stank.
But
I'm getting ganged up on.
no, I'm a Wyndham fan.
He's
I'm on the Wyndham bandwagon, whatever.
He's just been racing.
Yeah.
No offense to Kevin. Like,
And he's half the age.
the last St. Louis Supercross he did some gnarly transfer. I don't remember what he did, but I was there.
I'm not taking this shirt off.
Don't.
Keep it on, please.
I'm moving on.
Hot topics.
I'm so frustrated right now. Anyway, Ronnie Mack belongs at Red Bull Straight Rhythm. Speaking of Red Bull Straight Rhythm, did anybody see Ryan Villapoto call out Ryan Dungey?
Yes.
Al Dungey.
I did, and that was classic.
Yes. And did you see Al Dungey respond?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I didn't, but Scotty over here kind of tipped me off. What do you guys think about the Dungey, the Villapoto, before everybody's name, the Stank Dog, who else is riding this year? But they're all on two strokes, correct?
Yeah.
The whole thing is two
Ken
strokes.
Roxon's riding it this year.
On a two stroke, right? Everybody's on two strokes. No four strokes allowed.
Correct.
Okay.
Is Kenny really going to ride it?
Yeah, and so is McGrath, too.
Oh, yes. McGrath's riding.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Isn't Bowers racing it on a 500 or trying
Yes.
to?
Yep.
Going to?
Did you see the Instagram video of him riding it yesterday?
Yes.
Does that suspension look like it is from 1995?
They Carter Stevenson, whenever he was on the one at Cahokia, I mean, there's no Sean Collier. There's no way to get around that bike being a desert bike on a motocross track.
Yeah. It was just funny looking, watching, because Bowers is big.
Yeah.
And just watching everything blow through, it was just, I laughed.
Bowers comes straight out of the gate, jumps the whole lane.
The whole quarter mile in one lead.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I don't know who's going to win because again, is Dunge going to ride? What's he going to ride? The 252 stroke? Do you think he'll ride a 250 or a 300?
They don't make a 300 SX, do they?
They make a kit. He has
It's
access to whatever
Ryan,
he
right.
wants.
it's Ryan
Yeah.
Dungey.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
just meant like, I didn't think they made a 300 out of the box, but he's going to ride whatever KTM wants him to ride.
Right, yeah.
300 with a headlight. That's
That'd
what
be
he's
awesome.
going to ride.
And blinkers.
Yeah.
And a kickstand.
Well, it has a little rubber loop for you to,
It's, yeah, they're safe for the motocross track. That's
Yeah.
what.
It has a safety latch on it.
What do you guys
Safety
think?
first.
What do you think is bigger this year? Because I think both are way down as far as like people getting hyped up about it. Monster Cup or Red Bull Straight Rhythm?
What's Monster Cup?
Did you see the Monster Cup track though?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look that cool at all.
It never has.
It's never been cool.
the
It
big-
took me like 5 minutes to find the Joker lane and figure out how it worked.
I never found it. Like I saw where like you go under the tunnel, but I'm like, wait a minute, you're going to be going backwards. I don't
On
get
this
it.
year's map?
Yeah, I could not figure out.
It's really confusing.
It took me a minute, but I found it.
Like I feel like how many people have missed Joker Lane before? Dungey, Villapoto, and Stewart. right?
Everybody that
Yeah.
was going like was in the chance for the million.
I guarantee you, if any of those guys were riding this year, they would all be hitting each other head on because it's so confusing. If you can't remember to make one right turn, there's no way you're going to be able to figure out how to make this.
Oh yeah, and you cut right into like a jump path,
Right.
or something. I don't know.
There's going to be so many guys just getting smoked.
Tim Geyser
Yes.
or Justin Bogle. Is that what's
There
going to
is
happen?
no Joker lane.
Yeah, it's right by the finish line. It's like an over and under or something, but you cut short. I don't really know.
So while one guy's hucking the triple,
You're turning underneath
you're
him
going
or
to take
something.
an.
you merge into oncoming traffic.
Yes.
Guys, there's no Joker lane.
It's okay. Do you see? Are you looking at the picture right now? There's green tough blocks that are not. Those are all black, and there should be green ones
Oh,
right by the
Jesus
finish line.
Christ.
I told you.
Yeah, it's like death.
No, it's just another over-under. There's two over-unders, one after the other. So, yeah, that is a bad idea. Unless they're okay. So this lane here that has the triple on the east side or the west side of the property, if it has like chalk marked that this side is the joke, that is a
Either
stupid.
way, but they are professionals.
Yeah.
Like I saw that announcement, and I saw an announcement of like seeing Benny Bloss back in action at Monster Cup. That's the only thing I've seen for Monster Cup.
I'm gonna add this to Hot Topics. Still no Supercross schedule.
I
Yeah.
noticed that. Yeah.
And it was supposed to be released already,
Yeah.
like quite some time ago, wasn't it?
Isn't it due to TV though? They're trying to because the contract's up.
I actually
I didn't know
thought
that.
so.
I think
They're
I
shopping
heard that
networks or something.
somewhere else. Won't mention anything. Twitter, Reddit on Twitter,
Thank you.
but they were shopping networks is what I word on the street.
I just hope it's ESPN.
That'd be pretty cool.
Please go back to ESPN. The production was so much better.
No NBC Gold on our
Can
phones.
I mention just one thing? The quality on Mav TV of the first motos of the outdoors.
Pinnacle.
Is it shot with a toaster?
It
Like
is-
I
it
have
is
Mav
one pixel.
TV, and it is one picture. It's like it's live streamed from a galaxy onto the network.
Yeah. It's pretty rough. I wonder what the schedule is going to be.
Supercross was Fox Sports, by the way. Mr. Announcer, I think you would know that.
FS1.
Yes.
And FS2.
Yeah,
Can we-
I was more saying
See-
like,
Quick topic. Word on the street again. St. Louis is out. Best dirt on the series. No Supercross.
I think a lot of people would say Georgia's the best dirt.
Yeah, but every year they bring in St. Louis and say it's best dirt, they say Missouri has the best dirt, and we all know that's not true.
It's a lie.
Now Archview is as close as it gets to having the best dirt in the state. It's right there because it's Texas dirtish because it's right off the river. That's the only reason that St. Louis's dirt is pretty good is because it's right off the river downtown St. Louis. That's the only reason.
that is there, right there is why we're not having a Supercross.
And because that
Downtown St. Louis.
stadium's in a few minutes away from being blown up and demoed. I don't know.
The Trans World Dome.
Oh, they don't have a football team either.
No.
do they?
No, huh?
Yeah.
No, it's a vacant building.
But I mean, you'd think they would push pretty hard for having that because there's nothing else that's going there.
You would think.
You would think. Monster Jam and Supercross, which are
Practically.
all Feld sports,
Yeah. Sports.
isn't it?
Supercross is barely a sport now. It's as much of a dog and pony show as Monster. What?
Did you shit your pants?
No, why?
I don't think it was me. Not this time.
There was a mystery waft going around here earlier
Yeah.
that I just didn't bring up.
Might be Chipotle in the trash can.
Let's blame the new
I
guy.
ate Chipotle last week,
Okay.
and it's in the trash can.
That's where all these gnats are from. Fruit flies, whatever the hell.
There's
you
your
wanna call
fruit flies.
That's it.
That's why
Chipotle?
it. Yeah.
I think it's the noxious gas they're giving off.
Yeah, it's the fly farts.
Thank you, Colin.
Okay, Chad Reed, JGMR, JGR.
Go on.
And
I thought it was really cool. And do you think you'll ride Supercross for him?
I kind of think he's going to because who else is he going to ride for? I think they're going to give him some bikes, and I think they're going to do it because Bogle's out. They have Justin Hill moving up, and Weston Pike. Both of them are going to get hurt.
Hold on. Bogle doesn't have a contract for next year?
I don't think so. I don't know. What'd you read on Twitter?
I can't comment on Bogle. Don't know anything about
I think
that. I think the Reed Suzuki thing might work out, but they got to figure out how to pay for him because I think Suzuki's money is spoken for.
And-
Suzuki doesn't have any money to begin with.
Right.
What they do have is going to Hill and Pike.
Did you guys, only related to Suzuki, there are dealers nationwide that have 2018 Suzuki 450s out the door $5,800.
They can keep him there.
You know how many races you can lose on a Suzuki? All that you enter.
I don't know about that.
That's a pretty good deal.
If Chris Thies would just show up and race, then he'd prove him wrong and win.
I mean, yeah.
This podcast brought to you by Donnell's Motorcycles.
Yeah, dealer of Suzuki, Husqvarna, Beta, Gas, and Honda, and CF Moto.
I'm so glad you have that memorized.
I've said it enough times.
He always forgets, though. You always forget.
The Husky part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next hot topic, brought to you by Scott Gabbion. Bradley Taft signing for the Australian Honda team.
I hope he pulls it off. I hope he makes it work.
I didn't know anything about it till you mentioned it, to be honest with
Define making it work.
Like, makes a showing. I mean, technically he should win if Gavin Faith is signing the same deal and going down there and winning the last 2 years, then he should be able to go down there
Do you
and
think
win.
that Bradley is a better rider than Gavin Faith?
I think they're probably equivalent,
Yeah.
you. Now,
but
is Sid still his mechanic?
no. He's working for two kids down at MTF or something. two brothers or something like that.
Okay. I didn't
From
know.
Australia, actually.
There you go. Yeah.
It's ironic.
But anyways, I hope Brad can make it work, considering how his last deal it's over with. Kind of, he doesn't have a deal for Supercross or anything. So I hope he can make the Australia deal work.
So he's going to move there, race Supercross, and then does he come back here for the outdoors?
He only did 2 outdoors this year.
If he's smart, he won't come back at all.
and he'll race the outdoors over there.
Couldn't he come back and race Supercross though? Because isn't Brayton does the same thing, right? He races
yeah,
the
'cause
Australian Supercross and then comes back.
and he actually like flies back and forth between a bunch of the rounds.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So Brayton's racing Australian Supercross too?
Yeah,
He won last year.
The
He
last
does,
2
yeah.
years.
Yeah,
he's
well, I
won the
knew
title the last 2 years.
I didn't know he won the title. I just thought he went over and ran a couple of them, like just for off-season.
Number one plate, baby.
I think the last 2 years, or is it 1 year?
Taft
One.
doesn't stand
Okay,
a
then
chance.
Reardon won it the year before that.
I think
on
so.
the Yamaha.
Taft doesn't stand a chance against Brayton.
He's riding a 250F. He's riding the lights class.
Oh,
How
That's
dare you
X2.
say that word?
Lights?
Yeah.
I know. I said it just because.
Collin, your thoughts?
You know, I think I don't know. I think it'd be cool if 252 strokes could race with 254 strokes.
They can. In Australia.
Don't you have to be Australian or something?
No, that's Canada.
That's Canada. But
That's a third world country.
Australia or Canada?
Canada.
Oh, okay.
back up. In Canada, you have to be Canadian to race a 252 stroke against a 254 stroke?
Correct.
But if
And-
you're an American on a 252 stroke, you can't race it against the 254 stroke?
Correct.
What?
It's just part
That's
of their
the rule.
rules.
You have
It's a
to
non-sanctioned body event.
I'm sorry. So if you're not Canadian, that determines whether your bike is illegal against the other bikes?
Because what they didn't want is they didn't want a bunch of American riders going up there with an unfair advantage. But I was telling somebody this yesterday. If you look at Canada before they did that rule, and you look at Australia, 250F to 252 stroke, every weekend the guys on the 250Fs are winning. I think that one Australian 250 championship has gone to a guy on a 252 stroke since it's been legal.
I didn't know you could ride them in Supercross in Australia. This is breaking news to me.
Well, I could be wrong, but I would assume that it would.
I know they do in the outdoors, but I don't know about Supercross. I think they do.
Yeah, maybe Supercross is a different sanctioning body, so maybe they can't. It would be unwise to ride a 252 stroke at a Supercross race against a 250F.
But you would do it anyways because you'd rather die
Trying.
trying than race something with valves. Correct.
Correct.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Glad we've cleared the air on that one.
Wow.
That's the hill that I'll die on.
I did not know that
Over
rule.
and over and over again. Dies on the same hill.
Yeah.
Jeff, your thoughts?
I don't learn my lesson.
It's a hard lesson to learn.
Yeah. It's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But my thoughts on what?
Or the hot topic.
Of Gavin Faith?
No, that wasn't
Gavin
even the
Faith
hot
was-
topic.
That was never even a hot topic.
Who
was
are we
brought-
talking
Are
about?
you following along?
Are you
This
here?
is your show.
No, it's not. I'm just the control operator at this point.
The button pusher.
Yep.
Bradley Taft.
What about him?
How does he do in Australia?
Who?
I think he's going to do great. I think that he'll
That was the most political
put a
answer
lot of
he's ever given.
put a lot of effort in and hope for a good showing. And I think that he'll represent America well, and I think that he'll represent his team well. And I think that he's a good rider with a lot of talent and a lot of potential, and that he could potentially do good.
Are you interviewing for the team manager position?
I felt like this was a press conference right there, and you were the team manager for Australian Taft Honda.
What is the name of the team?
Penrite
Penrite.
Oils. I think.
Penrite. That's it.
Yeah.
I knew it was.
Penrite's an oil company.
Gotcha, yeah.
Just like Pennzoil.
Which is junk. Don't use
But
it.
it's Penrite.
Hold
Oil.
on. Did you just say that Pennzoil is junk?
Yeah.
You know it's
All the same oil in a different bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who owns Pennzoil?
FedEx.
Conoco. I don't know. Any Chevron.
Penske's.
Yeah.
Penske Car
Okay.
Rental.
Yeah.
Penske Racing.
Yeah.
Pennzoil.
Yeah.
Get it?
Got it.
Pennzoil.
So you're supposed to say good. Pen 15.
Pen over and out. Mike, next hot topic.
The last two I came up with as we were sitting here for
Okay.
two things. First of all, you were talking about Joe Rogan's podcast before we got started.
Yeah.
So now they have this fight between McGregor and the guy that he attacked on the bus, right?
What?
This is news to me. I don't know anything about it.
McGregor and the guy that he attacked on the bus are now fighting October 6th or something. But Joe Rogan announced it. But I'm so confused because I thought Joe Rogan banned him from everything that Joe Rogan does.
What? No.
Joe Rogan is the voice of UFC.
UFC, that's what it is. Okay, so this is an MMA fight.
MMA is UFC.
It is?
MMA means mixed martial arts.
That's
UFC is the ultimate fighting championship, the same way that motocross is a sport and the AMA is the
I
sanctioning
don't follow
body.
any of this. I've never understood why you'd ever want to just let someone punch you in the face. I don't get that, but
So what's the topic?
the topic is Joe Rogan made this big thing when McGregor had his people attack this guy on the bus.
You're talking about when he threw like the hand dolly through the windshield of the bus,
Right.
Yeah.
And he like went to court and all that kind of stuff.
Right,
Like
and he just wrote a check for whatever it is that they wanted.
Right. But Joe Rogan made this like big thing that he was never going to be allowed back. He was never going to fight again. And now they're using that whole thing as a publicity, like it's using it as an advertisement. And they're like, watch this fight, and they're showing him like throw the thing through the bus and all this different stuff.
Wouldn't you?
That's totally backwards.
Just like what Supercross fined Weston Pike for punching somebody, and then they use that image every 30 seconds.
But if you were
in the intro.
McGregor, wouldn't you be mad?
I don't think McGregor gives a shit.
Okay. I saw this on Facebook, so it's got to be real.
Jeff, are you looking it up right now? Are you doing some research?
McGregor is fighting somebody though.
Yes,
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah, I think so. Sooner than
And
later.
is he still going to be a nobody afterwards?
Conor McGregor will make his long-awaited return to the cage as he attempts to reclaim the lightweight belt from reigning champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. God damn it, I've heard that said so many times. Nurmagomedov.
Is that the guy he beat up? Or tried to in the bus?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I was just told that part.
Is this
Who did Conor McGregor fight on a bus? Continue with the podcast, please.
Well,
We're waiting now for you.
okay, well, that's my next hot topic.
Okay.
Okay.
TMZ reports, we asked Dana, blah, blah, blah. TMZ Sports obtained video. Conor McGregor and his outrage going berserk in capitals. Attacking a bus leaving the arena with several UFC fighters, including Khabib Nurmagomedov. So,
Okay, go on,
I'm
Mike.
getting Joe Rogan and the Dana guy mixed up. That's where I'm getting
Dana
confused.
White is the
promoter. Dana White
Is
is
president,
Coombs.
owner, CEO of
That's where I'm-
UFC. Joe Rogan is the intro guy. Welcome to the fight guy.
Jeff just hit his elbow on the glass counter.
Dana
Humorous.
White is Dave Coombs. Joe Rogan is Lurch.
I'm done. Never mind. Skip that hot topic. We're going on to the next one. You just asked Siri a question.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you believe that your phones listen to you all the time?
Pretty often, because there's a lot of times that I'll be, okay, not to tie in Rogan again, but there will be times whenever I'm listening to a Joe Rogan episode, right? And I have Hey Siri turned off on my phone. So she doesn't listen to what I say, okay? I'll be listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, and then they'll be talking about something. Like recently they were talking about this crazy bird, and I typed in like the first two letters of the bird's name, which was like FL, and then boom, there it was. Right in Google search, I'm like, how did it know?
Do you think your phone and like computers and stuff listen to you?
I don't know if it listens to me. I don't really have much to say on there, but I definitely think it tracks things. I mean, just it all goes into a database.
In my house, there's an Alexa speaker, and like every once in a while, like there's lights on top of it, and they'll light up like whenever you say something to it. But every once in a while, you'll just be like talking, they light up. Supposedly they're not listening, but I always am like tell the FBI agent on the other end of the line, like, "What's up? Hope you're enjoying this conversation."
Okay, so I've had this argument with everyone in this off, not you guys, but like on a daily basis. And no, your phones don't listen to you. I had a guy come in, and he wanted stickers for a model train.
Okay.
I've never in my life said the word model train, let alone had anything to do with model trains.
Okay.
Whatsoever. My phone, the Siri's off. My phone was sitting on the counter when he came in. We talked for 30 minutes about model trains. He told me more than I ever care to know about model trains.
Was this Lee Schmitz or my dad?
Neither.
Okay, just checking.
Literally an hour later, I'm sitting over here and I'm like, got nothing to do. I go on Instagram, the first sponsored ad, model train company. I scroll down, and then I go to the, like where you search like generic like things or whatever.
Yeah.
The whole first page, there's like 6 pictures of like model trains and stuff, and I'm like, no way.
Something that I think may be at play is that Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all these companies, they track you where you are. And I think that whenever you come within close proximity of someone, that like not only are you getting the results of your Google searching, but you're getting the results of their Google searching in the event that you guys had a conversation about model trains and you're thinking about, oh, I'd like to know more about model trains. And then you open your phone, boom, there it is, because that guy, assuming he's a little old and doesn't have Instagram, but that guy's probably done a lot of research on model trains. So it could just be the fact that your phones were within proximity of each other.
So,
I want to know what Collin has to say.
oh, go ahead.
Can you call this man and ask him what kind of phone he has, and like if a bunch of RC car or like sticker stuff has come up on his end?
Well, that's my question.
Can we follow
Is
up with
what's
this?
in your Google search that showed up on his phone?
Well, right, that's what I'm getting ready to say. If I'm at the gas station and
Puerto
I
Rican
innocently,
ass eating.
right? If I'm at the gas station and like I talk to a crack dealer by mistake for like 10 minutes while filling up my truck or something because I got a slow pump, am I going to get ads for like crack dealers because he's a crack dealer?
Could be.
Possibly. Maybe how to make crack, something like that. I don't know.
Or new pottery, like cookware. Get it?
LOL.
It was a funny joke.
Okay.
He missed it.
Well, folks, that's it for Hot Topics.
Really?
That was it.
That's not that bad of handwriting.
Well, from this angle, crinkled paper. Collin, can you read it from where you're at? Well, no. Hold it like you're looking at it.
Well, nobody can read that.
Right.
Side down,
Exactly.
upside down.
Everybody here can read.
By
Scott.
the way, we didn't talk about Most Day Cahoga. You skipped right over that whole.
Well, we
hot
talked
topic.
about it before this.
We can talk about it more.
Okay, let's talk about Mistake Cahoga.
The track was awesome.
Did you get rain?
They did on Saturday.
It sprinkled Saturday morning.
So you raced both days, and you raced
Sunday only.
one day.
Yeah. 'Cause
How
they
did
had
you
the-
race? I thought your bike was blown up.
Oh, you want to talk about a hot topic? Dude, me preparing my bike over the last week was the worst experience I've ever had working on a bike ever.
KTM.
It doesn't matter what.
Go to Donnell's buy a Honda.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Go to Donnell's and buy a Honda.
Okay, I just wanted to get that plug in there twice. Or you can go to Donnell's and buy a white KTM.
Go to Donnell's and buy something.
Yeah, okay. So, no, like, everything that could have gone wrong this week did go wrong. First off, I decided that I was going to buy the OEM KTM piston just to compare between a Wiseco and the OEM one to see if there was a difference. And I've been having problems with the clutch side motor mount bolt coming loose out of the head, which causes like extreme engine vibration. So whenever that happens, you're out on the track and all of a sudden the bike starts going zzz, like the whole thing shakes. Well, I thought that was my bike blowing up 2 weeks ago because at Kingsville at the state race, or was that a state race? No,
Best of Midwest.
Best of Midwest. It came loose on me in the middle of the moto, whatever, before the first moto. it backed out on me, so I threw some Loctite on it, Loctited that bitch in, and then went out. And the moto, 2 laps in, it starts to come out, but I reached down and the bolt is locked. So it came out and then stopped because of the blue Loctite. So I thought my bike was, about to blow up. So I pull off of the track. I'm done for the weekend. I go home, start tearing the shit down. Everything's perfectly fine. I mean, I was having a little bit of blow-by on the rings, but that's expected for a top end that saw 4 outdoor nationals and a sand track 3 different times. So, I was going to replace the top end. So I buy the KTM kit, I buy the gasket kit, and I buy the top end kit because they come separately. And not included in the top end kit because it's a bottom end part was the needle bearing, so the wrist pin bearing that goes into the piston. That was not included. Well, as I'm working on, I'm like, I have other things to do, so I put new swing arm bearings in, new linkage bearings in, so the whole back end is fresh. I overnighted the wrist pin bearing, and I get it in, and then I'm working on the head and the cylinder on my workbench, and I cannot get the head to line up. And so, the bolts aren't going into the actual cylinder. So I take it off, flip it around. Nope, that's not right either. Go back to the way it was. And I'm like, my head's warped. And that's why the bolt was coming loose, because it was at an angle of, I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's just not working. So then I overnight a new cylinder head. It's a $110 part. So I bought a new cylinder head. Come to find out, no, actually what it was is that the cylinder was the head was just on backwards. So I bought a new head for no reason. But then I was thinking, that left motor mount bolt or hole is wallered and it's ovaled, and that's why that thing keeps coming out. So then at Cahokia, I after in the first moto, I come back to the track and the bolt had backed out almost all the way. So the problem was not the head, it was the bolt. The bolt had gotten ovaled, or not ovaled, but shrunk down from vibrating so much. I just put a different bolt in and it stayed tight, and it hasn't come back out since then. But whenever I was putting the new top end in the bike, the little circlip that holds the wrist pin in, I could not get those clips in. I've never had so much trouble in my life getting those circlips in. I was throwing tools, cussing. I wanted to kick my bike off the stand. I couldn't get them in. And so much so that I was it took me an entire day of work to devise a plan of how to get those clips in. And what I ended up doing was I took a torch to the clip to get it to bend a little bit more and got them to go in. And in the process, marred the sides of the piston on both sides from jabbing it with my...
Awesome.
Yeah. So then I had to go and get, sandpaper and scotch it down to where the little marks aren't there anymore. It runs perfectly fine now, but...
Okay, so how much money did you spend on the rebuild kit?
Honestly, I don't know. All in all, it was $300.
Okay, so you spent $300. Does that include the overnight shipping? Twice?
Add another $40.
Okay, so $340. And what all did you get?
Well, I got the gasket kit, top end, head,
top end,
and needle bearing.
Needle bearing. And how many hours of frustration?
I'm going to say 3.
Plus a day of planning.
Oh, and a bolt. You got to add a bolt in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you add all that up, and you wouldn't add any of that with an Alta. Just saying.
Let me tell you something. After my first motos at Cahokia, I thought about loading up and leaving.
Could you make it around? Is Cahoga still as deep as it once was?
In a different way. It actually gets ruddier now.
Oh.
Yeah, because there's a little bit less sawdust. So the sawdust doesn't pile up the way that it used to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not as railable. The track's slower now. Yeah. But yeah, you can make it around on an Alta easily.
It wouldn't just suck the battery out?
Uh-huh.
Map 4? Would that be a Map 4 track?
It would be a Map 4 track for sure. All tracks are Map 4. Except for Bar. I mean, I rode at Map 3 and was keeping up with 450s. So
Map 4, you would have been leaving a trail of fire around the track on your Alta?
I wouldn't have been leaving a trail of anything because it doesn't. It has no exhaust.
No, what I'm saying, you would literally be going so fast on the Alta that you would catch the sand on
Like
fire.
Jimmy McGarth, I burned the dirt up.
Would you
Yeah.
have time traveled?
I was going to say,
Yeah.
he actually would have been going so fast. There
88
wouldn't have been,
miles an hour?
Yes, there would have been no noise, no sound. There would have been no dust, nothing.
Just
He
the
was moving-
lightning bolt, and
Yes.
I'm gone, waiting at the finish line.
Yes.
So, no, it crossed my mind.
And where the whole time you're thinking, I do this because I enjoy it. This is a hobby. This is fun.
What
Yeah.
is the local rules? These things are huge. Do you want these back?
No, I'm fine.
I have the privilege right now of wearing the headphones. What are the local rules like a state race if you showed up with an Alta? Like, it's eventually going to happen. If somebody shows up, where do they race?
I think it's
Well, all the classes are open now.
Alderman
pretty
will
much.
deal with it when it happens.
Well, but I mean, like, if you're like a 250 novice guy and you got an Alta, what do you ride? Do you have to ride 250 novice or 450 novice?
Either one, you ride a 250 and the 450, so it doesn't matter.
But you can't ride a
It's the
450 and
equivalent of a
250.
250F, is what I thought.
No, it's not. No,
It's equivalent of like a
yeah.
700.
No,
Oh,
map
excuse me.
4 has more torque than a 450 and produces 50 horsepower.
I don't know. I don't know why I thought that, but from my understanding, I thought it was a 250F class bike.
If you're in map 2 or 3, yeah. No, it's
So it's the best cheater bike ever for the 250 class.
precisely, yeah. Yep. Collin, we're gonna get you on one.
I would love to ride one, Do I have to bring my own generator to the track to charge it?
No, you just bring a helmet
Okay.
and you have to sign a waiver on your phone or on their phone.
So
Yeah.
did you guys both get beat by the new A-class kid at Kingsville at the Best of the Midwest?
Yates, I have an excuse.
You always have an excuse,
No, I
Jeff.
don't. I never make excuses.
Stop it. What about you over there, Junior?
I just sucked.
Dude, Kingsville was hard. And then Wade made us all look terrible.
And then it also rained.
Did it rain on the second moto?
Rained the entire set of second motos.
Did you guys actually race?
In the rain, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it rained.
I figured the RJ would have canceled, honestly.
No. We ran every second moto.
That really surprises me. I genuinely thought that they would have just been like, track's too slick.
Oh, it was slick, all right. You don't have to worry about that. But
Yeah.
they ran them.
Were you still doubling through the rhythm section before the finish line?
Yeah, and hit the
Big boy?
big boy on the backstretch in the rain. It was scary. I didn't like doing it, but everybody else did it,
Did it
so I had to
anyway.
do it.
First lap in the rain of the super mini class. Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, you only ran the pro class. Only ran 3 laps, didn't you?
The last 450 moto was 3 laps.
Yeah, it was green, white checker.
Yeah.
But the super mini class, who ran 3 laps, like during what I would call kind of the heavy rain, they came around and they hit the road jump section that you're talking
Yeah.
about. First through 7th, which I think there's probably only 9 of them. First through 7th, when they landed off the second one, just boom, 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 all off the slid off the
Ice.
track. Yeah.
Yeah. You see that scar right there? I got that in that section whenever it was just a big jump table.
That was a couple years ago, wasn't it?
2014.
Yeah. I remember. I was behind you. I saw the whole thing happen.
Or 2013.
You and Axrod.
Yeah, Malott hit my bike.
By the way, he had a big crash at Fiddler Creek. I
Yeah, he
saw.
did.
Shout
Hurt
out
his
to
lungs.
shout out to Alex. Heal up quick, bud.
Overall, though, yeah, Cahoga Cahokia was always the biggest state race every year, from like 2000 to 2008. For 8 years strong, it had 500 races or 500 entries, always. And now there was 200.
I remember 03 through 05 was just crazy, huge,
Wicked,
just huge turnouts. Rain, different track conditions every time, but they also ran that night Supercross race on Saturday nights.
Yep.
It was a full-on event. It was like Baja Brawl, but at Cahokia, before any of that even existed.
I miss it.
It's because the local Blimpies closed. That was my favorite part of going to Cahokia, eating a Blimpies.
I was thinking about that, actually. Like, if I went to Cahokia now, like, where would I even stay at? I don't even know now. We always had a motorhome back when I was a kid.
Keokuk, Iowa?
Yeah, but is there anything
What's
there
the
to
name of the
stay in?
town?
Keokuk?
Are you
Who told
ordering
you to say it
Chinese?
that way?
Please enlighten me,
Actually,
Jeff.
I thought it was said that way. So
All-knowing.
It's
Jeff.
Keokuk.
that's what he just said.
He's like, Keokuk.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, you know what? Everybody's
Thank you. Thank you,
taking
Jeff.
cheap shots at me all night, so now it's
Get used to it.
We're rolling two ways now, boys.
Yeah, that used to be a huge race, and then Merwin became the big, the first race of the year. It was always the big one, and then after that, they've just, even now they've just teetered out. H. Moberly used to have huge turnouts.
When Moberly did the Saturday night Supercross thing, they were big too.
I don't know.
I don't think they ever got 500 though.
I don't know if any of the races have had 300 entries this year.
Probably not. I wouldn't bet that. You've been to most of them, haven't you?
Yeah, I wouldn't. 200 is about average.
Did you see Carthage has been up and running?
For vintage
Just
racing.
just practices. It hasn't been any races or anything. He's
I
had
thought it
open
was just
practice.
vintage.
They had a vintage race, I think, but
Michael, can you chime
he was
in on that?
open for
I sure can.
practice.
They're super hot and heavy in RC cars too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's redone the track, and they're having modern and vintage practices, but just vintage races.
Even though,
But at the vintage races, I think they have what they call like an open modern class.
Yeah.
I think.
even though that track's largest jump is 13 feet long, I still loved riding and racing there.
Yeah.
Carthage
Agreed.
was the bomb.
I think the last time it was on the state series schedule, it had the most experts out of any most state races. Am I correct in thinking that?
That, since then, probably, yeah. That was probably, there was 20.
That's
Yeah,
like
there was like
2012 or something,
20.
wasn't it? 2013? 2012?
I was on KTM, I was
Or
on
11?
Troy Lee, so yeah, it would have been 13.
I love going to tracks that are like really, not the track itself, like not riding, just the whole facility is like very professional, like clean, it's organized, that kind of thing. And that was always my favorite track because of that.
Yeah, because it was like someone's backyard.
Yes.
You know,
It was like a golf course. The
Yeah.
the pits were like so clean.
Yeah, so track owners, take note.
what do you think track owners are thinking right now whenever they can't get 200 people are showing up to a Missouri State race?
Why am I wasting my time?
What I want to know, how does that work with the Missouri State race? What is their cut?
They take a percentage of each entry, I don't know what it is, and then they take a percentage of people at the gate, small percentage, like $2 or something. So Halderman gets a cut of the entries and gets a cut of the gate.
Are the state races, the Missouri State race, still the biggest races around, though, locally?
In Missouri,
I mean, that's what let's say Missouri, yeah.
yeah.
Are the Best of the Midwest series any bigger? Those races any bigger?
The best in the Midwest race at Kingsville wasn't any bigger.
No.
The best of the Midwest race at Merwin at the beginning of the year wasn't very big either.
But wasn't it also like 7 degrees outside for that
No,
one?
I'm talking, there was one in like April, like the end of April, and it wasn't big turnout like I thought.
Oddly, I don't know why this is, but our local contingent does not want to do those best of Midwest races.
And it's sorry to interrupt, but it's funny that you bring this up because I was talking to somebody at the Most State race this weekend, and they talked about a vet rider,
Yeah.
and normally Cahokia pays the vet class. Last year, I think they did but it was only a one-day race. Well, this year they didn't pay Saturday, and they paid Sunday. But this guy was talking about how, like, it's him, his wife, a couple kids, and it's so much to get in. And then I think they may have had to pay something to camp. And then he rides 2 or 3 classes, got kids, and he's spending quite a bit of money, and there's no payout. And, like, the Missouri State changed the payout for the A class this year, and it's not as good as what it used to be. And basically, where the money is, that's where everybody goes, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't explain the lack of amateur entries. I talked to Burkhart yesterday after practice, and he's like, he said, I think the days of paying big money is over, because it's not that there isn't A-class speed riders. It's that once you get to like fast B-level speed, you get shipped off to Florida or Georgia.
Everybody
Oklahoma.
goes the training facility route that we didn't have
Right.
when we were younger. It didn't exist.
You get shipped off to Innovative MX.
Yeah.
Yeah, shipped right here.
That's you. Like, we cut our teeth in the Missouri State Series.
Yeah, that's where. Yeah, 100%. This kid, just like this kid, he's a new version of us.
Yeah, let's talk about training facilities.
Do you
Let's
know
talk about them.
That
No,
you're
yeah.
do you know that you're like the last of the Mohicans?
Yeah, I'm a born an era too late, right? Decade too late?
No, it's not that. It's just that
Nobody else is doing it like you are. Who else on the gate is doing it like you? College kid,
racing
works
every
part
weekend,
time,
yeah.
racing the A class, paying your own way, living at home, not going to facilities.
I'm unemployed right now, so I've been truly living the professional dirt bike life.
So you
last
are a
couple weeks.
professional.
I'm bouncing race to race.
Yeah.
So your results, and when you don't make any money, you're crying on the way home.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that happens. But I mean, yeah, who else on the gate
And
is
when
doing that
you-
right now? We have the guys that are our age,
Yeah.
or guys that work full time or whatever. But I'm talking, you're what? You're 21 now, so you're a little bit older than what I'm thinking, kind of picturing. But let's say 19, 20, whatever. Even you were doing it then. Who else is on the gate in the A class that's doing that?
See, this is what screws me up. Is I was thinking in my mind, I was like thinking of all the guys that should have been there. Now, mind you, you're out with an injury. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's -1. But then Nick Peterson told me he didn't want to go because he wasn't in shape, and I'm like, Nick, who's in shape that's going to Missouri State races? It's
Collin,
Collin.
the champ.
Okay, well then why did I beat you?
He is the defending state champ too, and he got beat by Jeff.
Did you win last year?
Oh, the year before,
I'm
whatever.
pretty sure that Malott won it.
Did he last
Yeah.
year? Okay, so the year before.
Yeah. That wasn't too personal of a jab, was it?
No, it's
Okay,
fine.
yeah.
I mean, I got beat by Jeff. But can we talk about the first motos?
Jeff was terrible in first motos. Yeah. But what I was thinking is that how long obviously I'm not going to every race, but how long, and this is going to sound conceited or arrogant or whatever, how long do I have to carry this fucking series on my back? Like, I feel like I am obligated to show up to Missouri State races. I'm 30 years old. I feel like if I don't show up at the who's okay, no. That sounds really bad. It's just that nobody's moving up. We don't have the advancement rules that AMA district racing does, but even AMA district racing is dead.
Dude, the only race that I've been to other than an outdoor national that's had a turnout worth of shit in pro riders was a Pro-Am at Sunset Ridge.
Yeah.
And it had 40 A riders on a Sunday Pro-Am race.
Yeah.
And they were from Michigan, Canada, Illinois, Missouri. Actually, I think I was the only Missouri guy.
Yeah.
And maybe some guys from Iowa. But, I mean, they were almost all Michigan guys.
And go ahead, Mike.
Would you like my wisdom?
Please enlighten me.
Let me
Here
tell
we
you.
go. Okay.
I've seen the same in RC car racing. And it directly corresponds the same way, in my opinion. okay, so everybody wants to do good, be competitive, and have fun, right?
Yeah.
But it's gotten too hard.
Too hard to do good.
It's too hard to, and I'm not saying an old bike's not competitive, because I saw a 1989 RM250 race at Kingsville, Best of Midwest.
Collin rides a 2002 CR250.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not that they're not competitive, but mentally you think, I got to have the latest and greatest. It's too expensive to buy a bike.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like people, because of like social media and like these shows that you watch about like the pro guys, you feel like you have to train to even go race at Kingsville on a Friday night. It's too hard to go have fun.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
So the Missouri State Series, it's unnecessary expectations, and it's too hard to go. Like if I go and I get beat by you, I just know, hey, that guy rode faster than me. But too many people's mentality is I didn't train hard enough, I don't have a good enough bike, yada yada. And people can't afford $12,000 bikes. They can't go to the gym every day. They can't. But you don't actually have to do that. You know what I'm saying, kind
And
of?
see, what's funny is, even as far as 10 years ago, it was, I'll do whatever it takes to go beat those guys.
Right.
Now it's, I can't do what it takes to beat those guys.
Right.
I don't have what they have. It's not fair.
And what do we have?
Right.
I mean, you know, that's the thing, is like, for the last 5 years, the Missouri State Race A class has been plus classes. I mean, you're talking every single person in the class except for Collin and Jimbo Brown are over 25.
I mean, I've fallen into it, like, even with my RC racing type of stuff. Like, a race that I would have used to have gone to, I'll be like, no, I don't want to go. Like, I'm going to get beat.
Yeah.
I don't want to go. And I don't know why that is, but, like, it's just like, I
See,
don't know. Things are just changing.
For me, it's if I'm not going, it's because I want to go somewhere that I think the track's better.
Yeah.
I think a big part of it for me is the type of track you're going to ride. But I think this is all state series, local level riding, whatever. I think Kansas State Series, Missouri State Series, Oklahoma State Series,
Yeah.
I think they're all having the same effect, probably the same amount of rider turnout. It used to be you put big money up for the pro riders, everybody's showing up because that's where the pros are going. Everybody wants to go where the pros are going because that means the track's going to be good, this or that. Well, now it's like promoters are putting up the least amount of money for the pro riders, and they're getting the least amount of pro riders, and everybody's just spreading out. But for me, what I'm picking and where I'm going on the weekends is who has the sickest track or where I'm going to have the most fun on the track.
But you're a hobbyist,
Yeah.
you know?
I think like outside of bikes being expensive and stuff like that, I don't think people want to chase a series for the year-end awards.
Yeah.
For a
you know what I
jacket.
mean? Yeah. I think people want to go to their Saturday, Sunday practices, show up, pay their $20-25. You ride as much as you want,
Yep.
as little as you want. You leave and you go home. It's a Saturday. You go home, unload your stuff. You've got Saturday night, all day Sunday to do your stuff around the house. Like, I think it's a large part to do with the time commitment that it takes, because now you go Saturday for the practice.
Right.
You ride Saturday. You either have a camper or you stay in a hotel. The hotel is $115, $120. Then you've got your entry fee Sunday.
2 classes.
2 classes because you're there. You might as well ride 2 classes. You know what I mean? So you're not sitting all day. I think people don't want to put up the time.
So it's almost as if it's, and this sounds hard to wrap your mind around, but it's almost as if the track owners need to not be open for practice. If they want people to race, you got to be closed.
Go ahead.
I think there's 2 pieces of that. I think a huge part of it now is private tracks. People are going to spend their time riding their private track or somebody else's private track that they pay very little to ride, or they have their own, and they can get as much time as they want. It's at the house. It's at their property. They call the shots, riding with who they want to ride with. And so that's a big part of it, and they're not going to have to drive or go wherever, and then all they have to do is get ready for area qualifiers, regionals, whatever, because Loretta's is the only thing that matters. Now, for us, we wanted to win a state championship.
Yeah.
And everybody was going to the state championships every weekend. You know what I mean? The state race, no matter where it was. And I think the quality of the tracks were better in 2007, 2005. I think the tracks were better in 2004, 2005.
But it's really easy to say the tracks were better then, which is true. The reason for it is because there was higher turnouts of riders,
Right.
which means they had income to dump into pouring into the tracks.
Wrong. The tracks were better. This is where my point's going. Okay, so you've got
Because it was all two strokes.
okay, so you've got a handful of you guys that are super serious, right? And the A riders. The tracks, in my opinion, from listening to just everyday people that would normally go race places, or like say some of your vet guys and stuff, the tracks like Casey Moto, they're too gnarly. Like, and I'm not saying there's anything unsafe, but they're just too intimidating. A gnarly track used to be a rough day at Grain Valley, but there was nothing legitimately scary at Grain Valley.
Bullshit.
Well, that's the thing is like, if you were an average rider, you could easily have a very good time at GV because it had a lot of small jumps. But if you were very fast, you'd connect those small jumps together and start jumping over ditches and jumping through rhythm sections that were not meant to be jumped.
Correct. But I guess what I'm saying is, in general, for the general population of your riders, like your 40 125 beginners and your 40 250 novice guys, they had a good time at that track.
Yeah.
They felt like they were going fast.
Okay, no, Sal, I want to add a point to that.
Okay.
Look at where the location of the track is.
That's also true.
That is, I want to say 90% of it.
But, okay, when last time I rode a state series, okay, which was, the full series would have been like 04 maybe.
When it was sick.
Yeah, the gnarliest jump on the series or whatever you want to say was the big back tabletop at Kingsville.
Or one could argue and say that it was the Thunderbird at Holler Hill.
That's the one I was thinking of. But that jump was big then, too. But the Thunderbird was way scarier.
Yeah.
But nowadays, that jump, kids on 65s are like throwing mad whips over jumps that size. It's too gnarly.
Well, see, I don't know. I look at Kingsville, and a lot of people get hurt at Kingsville. I mean, a lot of people do.
Kingsville it's a small track, but it's a high-speed track.
Right. And I mean, I think a lot of it is just, it usually comes from a rider mistake or something. But I don't think, there's only 2 jumps, I think, at Kingsville that make it, that are gnarly. You know what I mean?
Which would be the 2 back ones.
Right, correct.
Yes.
That are super high speed.
Yes.
Or the section by the road, I think, is super kind of sketchy.
Yes.
But, and a lot of that just comes down to the dirt conditions and things like that. But overall, the track is not near as gnarly as other places, I think. You take Three Palms. I think Three Palms has some gnarly stuff on it compared to if you're putting it all together.
Okay, look at Moberly. How many actual jumps, do or die jumps, does Moberly have?
It
None.
used to have one.
None now.
Yeah.
None now, yeah.
But it's still like a cool track, correct? I guess what I'm saying is,
If it's got sawdust in it, then it's going to be a cool track regardless.
right, exactly. So, but yeah, if it's dirt, that's totally
Yeah.
different. But I guess what I'm saying is like what Tracy and those guys are doing is awesome for the A class guys, but for the meat of the people,
And it's funny you say that because, like, I go to the tracks and I'm like, these jumps are dumb.
okay.
You know, like the
Like
guys
too
in the
big
A
or too
class-
small?
Either
What do you mean?
or,
Yeah.
or just big jumps in the middle of a straightaway.
The jumps don't the jumps don't make tracks racy. Like
Yeah.
Cahokia, there's not very many jumps, but you know what I mean? You've got opportunities. There's more opportunities to pass. And it is a longer track than most. But on the same note, I would rather race 20, 30 guys at Cahokia than
20 or 30 guys at Kingsville.
15 at Merwin because it's you know what I mean? It's easier to race on, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
If I was nervous going to the track to go to race one day, I was usually nervous because it was like, dude, I'm going to get so wore out because it's so rough, so bumpy, rutted, all that kind of thing. Now when you go to the track, it's like, dude, I wonder how many jumps am I going to have to, like, am I going to have to hit that? Is the guy behind me going to hit it? Like, it's just, I don't know.
Do you really feel like it's turned into too jumpy?
It's not too jumpy. It's the kinds of jumps. Like, yeah, a step up may only be 5 foot long now, but when you build it 35 foot tall, that's unnecessary. Like, it steers people. Like, nobody wants to do that.
Now the question is, all right, let's break this down.
I'm speaking for the beginners.
Right,
and
yeah.
the novice guys.
Let's say, okay, let's just paint that picture. The jumps are too big.
Okay.
Why are they too big?
bikes are too fast, so you should get these electric bikes that make more power and more torque than the 450s now, and we're just all over this electric bandwagon when they're more dangerous than the...
Somebody's been listening.
Yeah. No, but okay, let's say if it is that the bikes are too fast and the bikes are too capable of doing gigantic jumps, if you take the fast bike equation out, who is saying we need big jumps? The track owners? The promoters?
Track builders.
Track builders?
Because now they can do it. Like, it used to be a track owner had to build his own track.
Yeah.
And they had to do it with, like, the equipment and the knowledge and the abilities that they had. But now you can hire somebody. If you have $6, $7, $8 laying around, hire somebody to build a track, and all you have to do is maintain it.
I'm just thinking about Jerry C., how he used to spend $20,000 a year in mulch at Grain Valley. I don't know if you guys know that or not. That's what it cost every year to remulch the track
I can see that.
at GV. Yeah.
I think a huge part of it is the dirt. Like you're talking, you had to spend that much money. You invested that much into it to have a good surface to race on.
Now, mind you, this is a Missouri State problem. This isn't a problem that we have everywhere.
Correct. But I think the other part of it, unless you're in Dallas, Fort Worth, or maybe around Oklahoma City, where else? Where are you going to ride? Where do you go ride at? Unless you have if I am a brand new rider, beginner rider, man, I just watched Supercross, man, Ryan Dungey's so cool. I'm going to go buy a brand new KTM. This thing is sick. Go out, buy a new bike. Okay, where am I going to ride it at? The guy at the dealer is going to go, you could go to Kingsville on Thursday night, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay? That is a huge problem, for one, for the growth of the sport. Now, at least it's in this area, let's say in Kansas City, in 3 hours around Kansas City, let's say that. Because there's just, unless you have an inn somewhere to go ride, you don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah. Do you ride during the week at all?
Okay, when I get the chance to, yeah.
Where do you go?
Friends' houses, tracks, in people's backyards.
When's the last time that you rode a week time practice at a motocross track, like at a public track?
I went to Kingsville maybe a month or so ago.
Yeah.
Okay, other than that.
Other than Kingsville, what other track? Name another track that's open during the week.
Right.
So,
Yeah, you're right.
and this applies to all power sports products other than Sea-Doos and Watercraft. Because I go spend $30,000 on a side. And we've talked about this before. And we've had people, when I used to work at Dell's, come in and say, hey, man, I just got this four-wheeler. Where we can go ride? Columbia,
Yeah.
Deepwater. You're driving an hour and a half or 2 hours to go somewhere to ride. Chadwick, you know what I mean?
You know what's funny is last week I was I was thinking about that. I was like, what's going to happen when I can't stand to ride at Oakland anymore? Where am I going to go ride my dirt bike? I mean, sure, Zeber's got his place, and he's keeping me informed. Jeremiah's got his track, but the thing is, it's like during the week,
It's too far across town or whatever.
Well, the thing is, I can't just. It's never enough notice. It's, hey,
Right.
we're riding today, which I
Right.
understand. Weather, that's the number one factor, and weather, because you can't. These guys don't have watering systems for their track. So I've thought, how can I ride during the week? I don't know if you guys know this or not. I live less than 5 minutes away from a lake. And I could go buy a jet ski, a stand-up jet ski, and go ride jet skis all day, every day, as long as I wanted. And for free, too. That's the thing, is I could ride for free. 5 minutes away from my house if I had a jet ski. And I've seriously been considering maybe I should just start. I mean, like, the thought has crossed my mind of, am I, has the canary in the coal mine left? Like, am I holding on to something that I don't need to be anymore? Should I just stop?
Is this Jeff's retirement from motocross?
His retirement speech right here, right
It's,
now.
it's crossed my mind.
I think we need to talk him off the ledge. I think
Guy,
he's
hey,
on the ledge.
hey,
and
they
we
They
gotta
don't make
talk
electric
him
jet
off.
skis yet. You
He's
can't
not
do
the
it.
only one that's there, okay, guys? He's not the only one that's there.
And I think that there are a lot of people that are teetering on this. That their enthusiasm about motocross as an industry is like, well, it's already shot the shit. Why do I keep doing this?
Why is this happening with racing across the board?
Yeah, look at NASCAR. Same thing at NASCAR.
I keep going back to RC cars because that's what I'm into.
Yeah.
But side by sides are the same way. They got so big and so, like, in the past 10 years, like, they had a point where there was like, oh, yes, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Literally, I went to the RC track the other day, 3 guys. We used to have like over 100 on a Wednesday night. 3 guys showed up.
To race?
To race.
Now, what if it was open practice?
I went Sunday for open practice, and I don't know. I mean, there still was only 15, 20 guys, but still.
It's a $1 million question.
And there's no real answer to it.
I think there is. It's just it's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing.
It's that there's a cultural shift that's getting away from competition of any kind. Really.
So what are we going to do?
Well, and
Take
it's even funny, like,
away participation trophies.
Yeah.
that's a huge part of it. But the other thing I think is, what's motivating? Okay, a kid like Brandon Yates. Let's bring him up. Just moved to A. Fast kid, has a chance. Facility training. He's doing the thing. He's doing everything he needs to do to make it to the next level.
Yeah.
He's probably going to have to buy his way onto a team if he wants any kind of support.
Yeah. I mean, that's.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
where is the? That's the ladder to climb just to get to the top and spend more money to have a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Does that make sense?
what's the next level? Is the next level
I'm saying outdoor nationals, supercross, whatever. That's what I'm saying.
is just qualifying good enough, or are you wanting to make a living at it? Like, what is the next level?
That's okay. I'm saying a kid that I'm comparing to a kid that's playing pee-wee football to high school football to college football to the pros. Okay. We have your local racing, your Loretta's racing, your Pro-Am level, and then your pros, which is Supercross, outdoor nationals.
So you've got essentially 4 different steps, but then once you get to the final step, there's 4 more steps within that final step.
Correct. And you're either A, just going to qualify and you're happy with it. B, you're fast enough to get in and you've got somebody paying your way, but you're not getting a paycheck. And then you've got to where you're buying your way onto a team so you can have competitive equipment, and you're cutting a check for 30 or 40 grand or whatever to be on the team for the year or half the year. And then you have the guys that are picked at 12 years old to be Supercross stars. So it's just like, well, what is the end game? You know what I mean? Because the 3 of us are happy to qualify. That's, you know what I mean?
I'm happy to be there.
I'm happy to be there. Yeah. And so, and you're happy to qualify. Okay. We're Jeff and I are here. Technically, we're over the age.
We're hobbyists.
Yeah, we're hobbyists, and we're looking for our best finish in the LCQ. You're shooting a little higher, just being a little younger, being still in school. It's a little more flexible for you than it is for us, and so it's just. And then so then you have Brandon, who's a guy that's living at Compound, wherever Walker's place.
Compound,
And so that's another step forward in the A class that puts you at that level where you have these expectations of performing, where you should just get into the show. You know, you should qualify for Loretta's and be competitive. And then after Loretta's, you should be making the show and competing. And I'm just talking figuratively here. So then when he gets to the point where he's making the show, let's say he makes the show at all 12 rounds of the Outdoor Nationals and they're paying their way to get there. The next year, he's going to be buying his spot on a team to get onto a team. And that's just the way that it is. You pay to play, and it's just becoming more and more exclusive all the way back down to the lower level where guys are building their own tracks because they can and riding at their own place because they can because there's nowhere else to go. Am I covering anything, or am I just talking in circles?
No, I like everything that you're saying makes sense, and it's pointing to that. Really points to the money. Okay,
right.
Everything that you're talking about has to do with the money of it, and there are a lot of people in this country that have a lot of money, and how do we get those people into motorsports in general? But the thing is, it's like as the blue-collar middle class starts to separate upwards and downwards, okay, so we have a bigger cultural difference between lower class and upper class. So that right there is the meat of the type of people that are into motorsports. And those people are, they don't have the money to participate. And motocross always has been, and as far as I'm concerned, always will be, until electric motorcycles take over, a participant sport.
The EMA. Tell the EMA.
Yeah, that's right,
runs
the
show.
EMA. And it's... Brandon did his first A race at Kingsville, and there were, were there 5 of us, 6 of us, something like that?
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah. My first A race, there were 31 guys on the line.
Right. There was 18 in mine.
Yeah.
My first A race.
In 2003. What a difference. You know?
So take that, 2003 to 2010 for me into the A class.
Yeah.
From 31 to 18, and that was like the second round of the Missouri State Series at Moberly.
Yeah.
Is when I did it.
20
And so-
riders at a race was very healthy, you know?
In the pro class.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Always has been. Now,
You get one race a year that might have that.
none in Missouri.
Yeah.
But, let's think of who the A riders are.
You can count on 2 hands.
30% of them sitting right here in the room.
That's accurate.
In the Kansas City area of active racers, there's 3 of us: Nick, Brandon, now
Mitch.
Talon, Barry, Malott. Kevin and Adrian don't race around here.
Stevens?
Joey,
Yeah.
he does ride the 450 class sometimes, yeah,
Mazza, whenever he decides to ride.
which is twice a year
Right,
that he
yeah.
races motocross.
So, yeah.
So now we're floating at 10, okay? We got 10 A riders, and 5 of them are part-time, show up to the races that we just said. Are there B riders that should be riding the A class? Honestly, there was only 6 B.
There was at Cahokia, there was 17 250 novice and 4 in the 450 novice class. You know what I mean? Like 4 years ago when I raced C class, you had 20 in 250 and 18 in 450.
Yeah.
Like when I did the Loretta stuff, there was 3 C classes you could ride. And there was the same 60 guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking Loretta's regionals. There was 60 guys trying to make it in the C class. And I don't know. I don't think it's that way now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. Maybe for the Loretta stuff, but like even the Missouri State Series was, and that's 4 years ago, 5.
This thought just dawned on me. What if what we're seeing right now is the 10-year lull of the recession? You ever thought about that?
No, but it kind of makes sense in a roundabout way.
But what if, 2008 happens, the middle class loses its ass, a lot of people that would have been, 8 to 14 years old that would have gotten into motocross, that core group.
Or that were in it and quit because it was too expensive.
Right, yeah. And then, those people didn't get introduced into anything because they didn't have any money. Because the parents were freaking the fuck out because they're like, well, I just lost $350,000 in my 401k overnight. So could it be take away, this isn't the right word, but concussion awareness culture, okay? Take away participation trophies. Is it simply that, could it be that it's, the 10-year effect of not, because, the 50 classes have kind of started to climb back up a little bit. There's 60 riders, there's 10 to 15 every weekend, but then you get into the big bike classes, into the skill levels, and it's blank. But then you jump into the plus classes, and there's more riders.
The plus classes are the guys that came back.
Yeah.
After injury or quitting because they couldn't afford it or whatever, or guys that did it when, in 2007, 2008, pretty hot and heavy, and then
got out of it for a while, and then now they're getting back into it.
When the plus 40 class at a state race has Ben Heibel, Joe Drennan, trying to think who the other
Lambert.
guy, Lambert, Like those guys were the expert class back.
Yeah.
I
15
remember
years
them
ago.
all riding the plus class. So
Well, Ben raced
A in 2006.
up until about 2007, 2008, somewhere in there.
Joe Drennan when we were on 50s, 60s.
Yeah, Joe Drennan, Jeff Hockett,
Hockett, yeah, that's another
Chris
one.
Lees,
Yeah.
Shrout, Doug Stone,
Brian.
Brian didn't really race that much whenever we were on 50s.
He did?
Not really. Not.
Remember Brian
Well,
Imig?
shit, maybe he did. I don't know.
Imig?
But they.
Not Jeff, Brian Imig. Mm-hmm. Mark Morris.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Mark Morris, national number 31, was shoved to Kingsville and race almost every Saturday night.
Yeah.
Because there'd be 4 or 5 other guys that would show up for a
Bart.
local race. Bart. Yeah.
We've already named more people from like the 90s era that race expert than you have now total.
Yep. Yeah.
Do you think a class structure change would benefit better off? Like say RJ's Saturday night series, they change it to like 2 open big bike classes, or like two levels, like an A B class and a CD class?
No,
or something?
because then you're going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. And then the novice guys that don't, or like the beginner guys that are 1st through 4th, typically, they don't want to get beat by the novice riders.
Do they treat it like the expert intermediate practice and the novice practice and the beginner practice, where everybody goes out in the expert and intermediate practice, even though they're not expert and intermediate skill level riders?
Genius idea. Then the A class,
I would drop back down to the C class and win everything.
If the A class during the motos had as many riders as there is during practice,
We'd all be rich.
it'd be 30 riders every
be sick, yeah.
every weekend. Yeah. Now, mind you, you'd be landing on guys every 3rd jump, but
Only the strong survive.
Not if the jumps weren't so gnarly.
there we go. Okay, so we need smaller jumps.
We need a track with no jumps. We need 1 big bike class and 2 little bike classes.
Guys, I've gotten really old. I've realized that just during this podcast.
Yeah.
I have realized how old I've gotten.
when you're complaining about the
30.
jumps.
Like when I'm thinking about this, I'm like, do I want to ride at, and I'm thinking like, okay, if I had the ability, and if they said, okay, you can stand up, you can walk, and you can ride one day, but it has to be a Casey Moto, I'd be like, no, too gnarly.
Yeah.
Too scary.
I wouldn't say too gnarly, but I wouldn't pick there. So
It wouldn't be the track that you'd want to ride.
I'd want to ride Moberly, the Greenwood Vintage Track,
Okay.
which had a sweet uphill at one time.
It did. I remember.
Yes, yes.
Back at you like crossed over the creek,
Yes.
went up the hill. I was on a 65. Like
Yes.
I'm not making it up this. I'm
Cahokia.
not making it
Yeah.
up this.
Hold on. Let me just put this in your mind, and these two won't get it. Silver City MX.
Silver City MX. Where
You
was
and I
that?
went there one time for the Santa Claus race.
Sterling.
Yes.
Dude, best track ever.
Yep.
Can we go to Buffalo?
Oh, Buffalo was another great one.
Yeah.
I
The
loved
concrete
Buffalo.
start.
I loved Rolla.
Yeah.
Rolla's sick. It's back alive.
Radical
Rolla's
Robs.
back.
Radical
Triple R
Robs.
Ranch,
Yes.
Legends Raceway.
Yes. Yeah, Possum Hollow was a fun one.
Yeah. Possum's allegedly still awesome.
But what do these tracks have that all these tracks now don't have?
They're
fun.
It's
They're
a
not
community.
scary.
It's
Their
Right.
different.
memories. Their memories.
They're
Memories.
fun.
Yeah. You do have to ask yourself, am I looking back at this with nostalgia?
That has nothing to do with it.
You're right.
They were fantastic because my brain remembers them being fantastic.
I have thought, is there a way that we can change the Sunday format to incentivize people to go to the races? What if it was practice from 9 to 12:30? Okay? And it's a lot of open practice. And then at 12:30, you've got A, B, C, D, 60 open, 80 open, 50 open, plus 30. And then guess what? The races are over at 3 o'clock. And you get one moto that's 15 minutes long. But then you get to ride a shit ton in the morning when the
I
track's
don't think you're
awesome.
going to get to ride that much in the morning, though, from what you're thinking. You'd have to start your practice earlier, depending on how long you're running your practice.
Okay, whatever. 8 o'clock. You don't even have to have a riders meeting.
It would be the same as it is 8 o'clock now at a most 8 race.
Yeah, there
you
you go.
start at the same time.
So you ride, the track's open for 4 hours, and let's just ballpark this and say there's 200 entries, just like there is now. Would you get to ride more that way?
I'm betting you get maybe 3 sessions in practice.
Okay.
And then you get your one moto. So,
Right.
no, I don't think you're getting any more ride time than you would in a regular race.
But your time between riding is cut down significantly.
That's also true, yeah.
That's what I'm. I
So
feel
you're
like,
shortening the day.
Correct. Yeah. Maybe you're not as much tracked, or the track time doesn't increase, but the time between riding cuts down.
What if you do that format Saturday, Sunday?
2-day race.
You do a 6-round series, less rounds,
Yeah.
more ride time each round. And then, so technically you've got 12 rounds. You can look
Right.
at it like that.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? Everybody's free to go to their open practice or whatever, the other, you know what I mean? The other weekends
And
in the
it's
summer.
it's race or don't race.
I think you're going to have a lot of people cut out after the practice
Well,
session's
maybe they
over.
do. Well, guess what? It's $40. Practice and race all combined together. I mean, you're going to pay for it. So then, I mean, sure, I don't know. Where does it, because then you can't ride multiple classes. Then there's not as much money into it for the
promoter. I mean, I still think even to this day, I don't think it costs enough. I don't think people are paying enough to go racing.
No, not if the promoter's only breaking even every weekend.
Correct. That's what I mean. In the promoter's eyes, they're not charging enough.
Yeah.
And for a Thursday night practice or for a Sunday race, state race, it's not. And people will complain and say that's ass backwards, but I think it's the truth.
Have you ever done a woods race, Collin?
I did a poker run in Coal Camp once. No woods races, though.
Okay. Let me ask you this, and we talk about J-Day on here a lot. If the J-Day series was here and it pays what it does and there's as many entries as there is and you get to ride 2 30-minute motos within 4 hours, what would you be more likely to do? Go to a Missouri State race and be there from
sun up to sundown?
Yeah, essentially. You'd be there for from 7 until 6, so 11 hours. And you race 4 times with one shitty practice session, dodging novice riders. Or you race twice at noon and 2:30.
I think you do the J-Day series, and that's why that series is doing as well as it is.
And plus they're combining woods and motocross.
And you get the woods guys and the motocross guys together one place.
Beating a dead horse.
Okay. I love this. We do that good here.
It's also not as gnarly. It's not as scary. It can be gnarly. You can make it gnarly.
Yeah.
If you're a fast guy.
Okay.
But you don't have to. Point is, first GNCC race of the year. By no means am I not saying a GNCC is not gnarly, but it's only gnarly if you want to make it gnarly. Like, it's not scary to go out and ride around a GNCC course if you want to ride it first gear.
It's scary going 50 miles an hour through trees.
Right, that's scary, but I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be scary.
And a motocross track doesn't have to be scary. Don't do the jump.
But if the guy behind you is going to do it, like, it's scary. Like, if you get in the 125 beginner class, you're going to get that guy, Free Willy. What I'm saying is, the first round of the GNCC class, or GNCC race, William Peters from Nazareth, Pennsylvania, riding the 250C college class, finished 669th overall at the GNCC race.
It's not comparable. That's like running motocross amateur day on the same day as the pro motocross day and running all of those entries. You would have the same numbers.
And you're going to tell me, I was at Hangtown, there was not 700 entries on amateur day.
Okay, go to Millville.
Millville amateur day? There was maybe 10 guys in the A class. Maybe 10.
At Tennessee, there were 650 entries and we were done. DONE, done at 4 o'clock.
Well, yeah, that's just the facility, the way they run it. But
are you telling me that Millville can't run as good of a program
Millville,
as
I think,
Sports?
runs one of the best programs there is. I don't think Millville has that issue at all. I think Millville probably pulls more entries than that on amateur day. At least they have in the past. Maybe not locally, but in the last, maybe up until 2 years ago.
Yeah, so where I'm going with that is you could run the Pro National and amateur day in the same day and you'd get those kind of numbers. Absolutely. But also, Mike, what you're talking about is a 10-mile woods loop
Correct.
versus a
5
1-mile motocross track.
5 lap moto.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is like, it's fun. These guys are having fun. That guy got 669th and he had fun.
Yeah.
But if it's, I don't know where I'm trying to go with this.
Yeah, we don't either.
Other than they have a lot of riders.
I guess what I'm saying is, not all of dirt biking is suffering.
The GNCC is pretty suffering to everyone I've ever talked to.
There's got 670 amateur entries. But
So
like
does every motocross race at like every pro national.
What does the local Harris Scramble Series get? How many guys?
150. Really,
It's equivalent.
Forward motion is pulling about the same. That's why I'm saying they have to combine.
The Dirt Hustle in Australia, which is a festival. Dust Hustle,
yeah.
which is a festival of motorcycles.
Yep.
It's combination of whatever. How many people do they get?
They cap the entries.
How many people? What do they cap the entries at?
I don't know what it is, but it's gotten so big to where they have to run like 7. They're running like 7 events a year.
Day in the dirt. That's all day in the dirt is.
There you go.
Okay, day in the dirt. How many entries do they get?
1,000.
I don't know. Yeah, 1,000. Sure.
Why do you think they get 1,000 entries?
Because it's the fastest party in town.
Ooh. Did you just read the Day in the Dirt Fast House jersey?
That's their logo.
Right.
Or
It's a
their
good
mark.
time.
Yeah, because
We got to bring. Racing's not fun anymore. RC racing's not fun. Motocross racing's not fun. It's not fun.
Thank you. Accurate.
I'm just being honest. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I'm just being honest. Racing is not fun anymore. It is not fun to go to Kingsville on a Friday night. It has nothing to do with the track prep because the track's been prepped the same for 30 years. So I'm tired of hearing people make bullshit excuses. Oh, they didn't. Oh, it's too west. It's like, no, fuck no. That's not the problem. The track's been the same since I was on a 50.
yeah,
It's not fun. Racing is not fun. The Fastlane RC track in Blue Springs has been the same for 15 years. It's suddenly not fun. Nothing's changed. Why is it not fun?
I'm gonna do what you do to me after I go on a tangent and stare at you blankly.
That's fine. I'm just tired of it. It's not fun. I don't have fun. I'm not the only one. Like, I try to have. I mean, there's fun moments. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it's not just quality fun anymore.
Ask yourself this: is it because you've been doing it for so long that the fun has worn off?
Maybe.
That's what I was saying earlier about I can't keep doing this forever. I can't show up and race in Missouri State races in the A class forever. Okay, it has a shelf life for me. Maybe I've only got I'm 30. Okay, who's the last guy that was 35 years old and racing Missouri State? Travis Hodges, 10 years ago, and he's like, at the time, was world-class racer.
I mean,
He was still riding Supercross.
when you
Yeah.
wake up Monday morning, are you excited about the state race the next weekend anymore?
Dude, I wake up Monday morning. There are times like I will go a week without. I'll walk past my dirt bike without even thinking about it in the garage.
Can you sleep the night before a race?
Before a race,
Yeah.
I've never been a nervous person.
Okay, I used to be like so amped up before any type of race, whether it be
Yeah.
RC, side by side, motocross, that I couldn't sleep. Now I literally can't wake myself up on race day,
Is it? Yeah.
and it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, obviously, I'm only racing RC cars now, but I guess what I'm saying is like
If it was side by sides or whatever.
Right, and I see that with not just me. I guess is what I'm saying. Like you talk to a lot of people, and they're like, "I just don't feel like going today."
Okay, dude. Let's say at High Point, when I didn't make the show, and like I obviously had a shitty day of riding, but like I wasn't that stoked to watch the motos afterwards. And like and we left before the second moto started, and the same thing at Muddy Creek. No, we waited for we left early. I left
We
early.
left halfway through the
Second
set of motos, but we were also going to try and drive the 13 hours straight back home.
Right. But I mean, okay, if this was 2007 and I was at Millville and I was riding the B class and I rode amateur day Friday, Thursday practice, raced Friday, watched the pros Saturday, and then like stayed to the very last minute before I came home, before I would leave to come home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and would beg to stay longer or whatever and didn't want to leave. It's just, maybe that's an age thing or whatever, but I could see where you're saying it's not fun anymore. I think it has levels to it, and I think it depends on the age of the person racing or the class you're in. I think on the mini bikes, I think that's fun for everybody except for Dad who's paying for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I think at the levels above that, I think your kids in the beginner and the C class are really kind of, you've got a couple of C class kids where mom and dad are paying for it because the kids are pretty good. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of those guys, if you look at it, they're older and they're paying for it themselves. Just them, because the same guys will run 250C. Some of those guys will run plus 30 or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out my ass. But no. I think it's just different levels of riders, which I think goes back to Jeff's point of the generational deal. So what do we got to wait till our kids are racing 65s or something before it is back to 500 entries at a state race?
I don't think it'll ever come back. I think our culture's too different. You know,
it's done. Racing is dead. It's all dead.
I think
this is a waste of time.
Yeah, I think it's that our culture is too worried about looking cool than doing cool stuff.
The 1 minute Instagram video is more important than burning 30-minute motos getting ready for the next race.
Collin.
I'm so glad you brought it up. So glad.
Yeah.
So you're saying that instead of riding and getting better, we're hashtag sending it for the gram for our 60 seconds of glory and internet fame?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Anybody can be
because
fat.
we're too worried about how many likes we got on our post.
Dude.
And the DMs we're getting.
All right. Let's go to Nebo Hill, and the corners are all pitted out. I can go stand in every corner and get a video of you railing through every corner. But how hard is it to do that lap after lap, every corner? Next to goddamn impossible. There are 5 people in the world that can do it.
It's really hard because whenever you're trying to get your Insta bangers, you blow out. You have one. So you hit the corner 10 times, and the third time is your best, and then after that, the next 7 are bad because you've blown the corner out.
Yeah. Okay. So then we do that in 7 corners, put it all together. And then you post on Instagram, was ripping today at Nebo Hill, hashtag send it, hashtag Slayco, yeah, so on and so forth.
When you literally rode for an hour total maybe, and every hour, every turn you stopped and checked the footage.
And it's a complete, like total laps completed is 12. Yeah. So that's a new thing that people are doing now.
I think when we were doing it, like you'd go run because you knew you needed to get in shape to go racing.
Yeah.
You'd go run 4 miles after school because that's what you needed to do because
you thought your competitor was doing 3, so you're doing 4.
So exactly. No, that's 100%. I mean, I remember getting home from school and running it. The hotter it was, the better. Yeah, this is cool because this is what fucking Ricky Carmichael does. Dude, this is what Ricky Carmichael does. This is what the pros do. So this is what I need to do.
Brad Arnold and I used to drive in his F-150 out to Grain Valley with the heat on and the windows rolled up in the middle of summer, just so it would be so whenever we got out of the truck, it would feel good.
Remember the couple summers where we had the rule was you couldn't drive to the track with the air on. You and I had that, and like if you got a phone call, you'd roll the windows up, and everybody in the truck would be wanting you to get off the phone. Everyone would be sweating. There's like get off the phone, and you're trying to get directions on where you're going or what you're doing. Yeah.
Full disclosure, that was me this summer coming home from work.
You'd hotbox it.
Windows up, long sleeves on. No air. He turned the heat on.
And that's why he made it. That's why he earned 3 points at Ironman.
You got to do what you got to do. Call me crazy. I don't care. It may have worked. It may not have worked.
Hey, you've got the pro points
in here. It worked in here.
Gave you that self-satisfaction.
Yes.
But I mean, I think it's just different. Like you said, it's a cultural thing where the guys are. Where we were running or trying to get in shape or just bang. I mean, how many motos did you knock out at Valley because you needed to get your motos in, right?
All of them.
Right. You know what I mean?
Every time I went to Grain Valley, it was 2 30-minute motos every single time.
Right. And so you had that, and now it's how many videos, how many times can I hit this one turn and in my matching top to bottom
Lit
7
kit.
lit kit,
Yep.
you know what I mean, with my bike that has graphics and whatever, stock suspension and a pipe on it because it looks cool. Nobody
Yep.
can see suspension, you know what I mean, to hit this 2 turns and so I can throw it in an Instagram video or put it on my story or put it in my Snapchat. Like, I think that has totally changed. I don't know of any kids other than the ones that are being told to do it by a trainer that are out running on their own at 15 years old.
Let me just put this out there. Okay, we figured out all the problems. How do we fix it?
We're back to that big old pie we talked about a long time ago,
Yeah.
remember? In April.
That's not
in
our,
April.
our job here on OTB is just to create problems and identify them
And walk away.
walk away.
That's a different podcast.
That's a whole nother
different
podcast.
Separate
Yeah.
people. They solve it.
We got to
just-
make it fun.
Yeah.
We got to make it cheap and expensive. Both.
Inexpensive.
Cheap and expensive.
Oh.
Cheap for the consumer, expensive for the track owner so that they can make more money to
Okay,
be
I see
open
what
and
you're
have a
saying,
better
yeah.
facility, so it doesn't make any sense. Those
So
cancel
you're-
each other out.
So you're saying it's a big circle where everybody just passes the money around, and then
You mean like a Jewish community?
no. What I'm saying is,
That's what they do.
Okay.
like the money
I don't know
just
anything
changes
about that.
hands over and over again.
Again,
you,
Jewish community.
You go
Am I helping?
buy the bike from the dealer. They support the local track.
Yep.
The local track makes money, gives it back in the purse to you, the rider.
Yeah.
You come back, give it back to the track. They give it back to you. You go back to the dealer to buy your parts because you're racing, wearing stuff out. Then it's just a big circle.
You're
Yeah, but
pulling
then-
pages out of the Schmitz and Goldstein book.
Yeah, but we're missing the pieces of the guys that buy all their shit off the internet. And we're missing the tracks to go right at.
And the money in the people's pockets.
Yeah, but that's a very small
Partly.
percentage.
You
Yeah.
don't make money racing.
Get rid of Vital MX, bring back Cycle News newspaper, and 1-900 Pro Race to get my results for the Supercross.
Now,
and
hold
I'll
on.
be
Okay.
happy.
Now, let's just do this. Let's rewind to 1996. Okay. We were in the golden era of motocross. How many people in 1996 were saying, bring back whatever?
Yes, you are absolutely
guys our age that were like,
The stickers from Throttle Jockey.
yeah.
Keep Supercross indoors.
Let
whatever.
the legend live on. Keep Supercross indoors.
Yeah. They were complaining about the same thing I'm complaining about now.
Tracks being too dangerous and
Yes, they
whatever.
were complaining about it back then, saying Supercross needs to stay inside, keep motocross outside.
I still agree with that.
I do too, but I would consider almost every track I go to a Supercross track. But I think it's because I'm old. At one time, I would have been like, "Oh, this is awesome," but now
You
I'm
were never
old.
really a jumper, though.
I have no comment on anything happening in 96.
You weren't even alive then. When were you born?
April of 96.
Okay, you were born in the golden age, yeah, but you have no idea.
Dude,
Oh, God damn.
do you ever, do
See,
you like,
Golden age for me is
2001.
watching Ricky and Bubba go at it.
Oh,
Right.
so like
At
05.
Like, yeah.
I was a huge Stewart fan. My brother was a huge Carmichael fan.
Oh, man.
Many fights fought over who won and lost the race. I remember, I think it was Toronto one year. Stewart took out Ricky, and I got hit over the matter.
That sounds about right.
like you're his personal representative?
Yeah,
You are Stewart.
Yeah, I was Stewart. He was
You
Carmichael.
were the Oak Grove Stewart fan club versus the Carmichael
like watching
fan
the
club.
races. It was a rivalry,
That's awesome.
and like Stewart would crash, and I'd just devastated.
See, in our day, it was Jeff Immig and Jeremy McGrath.
Yeah.
Or, Steve Lamson and Stefan Roncada or
Doug
Pichon.
Henry.
I'm sorry, is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Steve Lamson and Mikel Pichon. I mean, it was-
Kevin Windham.
Sorry, yeah.
Dude, when he came back in 03, that
Wyndham
was
V.
so
Dowd.
sick.
yeah.
But hey, okay, so talking about pro riders, do you guys have a favorite pro rider now? Now that we're in the pros, and like obviously Kevin Windham, whatever, he's retired. But let's say, do you have like you turn on to Anaheim 1's coming? Do you guys have somebody you want to win?
I used
Every
to.
weekend, yeah, absolutely.
Do you?
Yep.
Because, and not because of fantasy, just because of your own thoughts.
Yeah, and I'll tell you how he introduced himself to me. He stuck out his hand and said, "Stank Dog, nice to meet you."
So who is it?
Stank Dog.
So you want Stank Dog to do well every weekend?
I don't.
I mean, do you have a superstar that you're a fan of that you want to win?
Because to me, it's not about who wins. It's about, are the races good?
Right. That's the exact same boat I'm in, and I was going to say that, so you stole that from me.
I retract my statement.
No, like I want to see good racing. I want to see. I don't care who wins. I have no preference. Maybe I want to see somebody not win.
Bingo.
But it's not that like I'm not like rooting against them or anything. Like
But-
if they don't do well, it's not that big of a deal. or
Go back
whatever.
in time again. Start with McGrath, Emig, who was Carmichael, Stewart, Villapoto, Dungy, now Tomac. Every single one of those guys have had hordes of fans wanting him to not win.
Right.
You know, it's
What I'm asking at this table.
Oh, yeah. Cool. So you were which one were you?
Stewart.
You were Stewart. Okay.
He's coming back.
Thank you. I'm
Did
with
they
him.
find him? Did anybody find? Oh,
The-
7MX found him.
The Finding Stu Part 2 drops tonight.
Oh, it does?
I'm sure you probably have it like pre-ordered, so it comes
Colin
straight
has
to
to
your
go
phone.
because
Yeah.
it drops in 28
Oh,
minutes.
that's that bullshit excuse of having to go home for dinner.
No, it drops on YouTube. Don't.
He can watch it at dinner.
Oh, okay. Cool. Gentlemen, we've done 2 hours and 50 minutes, and it gets right around that too large file size. So,
You're used to
Colin,
hearing that.
yeah, it's too large. Colin, anything that you'd like to say?
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
We'll have you back.
Please,
Probably next weekend.
not so long. You know, I mean, not so far.
In between.
Yeah.
Are you gonna? When's your next race?
Mo State, Moberly, HLR, September 16th, I believe.
Look at that. Just dropping that Mo State. See, you are the guy now. You're the Mo
You're
State
handing
guy.
it off.
Oh, I
Not
didn't.
quite.
It wasn't mine to handle. Yeah.
It's not mine to take either.
You're saying you're on your way out? Yeah. Anyways. Doesn't
I
matter.
don't know.
Use
Did
your words.
three
This is a
people
podcast.
just
People can't see
retire
you.
from motocross in one podcast?
Yep.
Yeah.
We're done.
That's it.
Wow.
This
Okay.
is the final OTB ever.
I'm going out on the bottom.
Started from the bottom, still here.
Still here. I'm going out.
Okay. Michael, anything you'd like to? Or
I
Scott?
just can't thank all my sponsors enough.
Good. Then don't.
I
Keep slaying, folks.
What?
Keep slaying.
Yeah.
Slaying, Slayco. Hashtag.
Send it.
Stop it, people. I think it's cool. We brought Colin on. He's a college kid that out there doing it on his own, whatever. Getting a little bit of recognition that he doesn't normally get anywhere. Are you
Duly
checking me
deserved.
out?
Are you wearing swim trunks?
No, dude, these are my Ethicas with a bulldog. They got a bulldog on them,
Nice.
as
All
they
right.
should. Everyone should have bulldogs on their underwear.
Scott has a bulldog thing.
Yeah.
Thanks to Donnell's Motorcycles in Independence, Missouri. Lots of thanks to Kansas Motocross Championship Series, the KMCS, who is having their next race. Let's see, this is September, first weekend of September, so the next race is at Tallgrass in Howard, September 23rd. Thanks to Corey Hipp, who is still continuing to donate at the corporate level every month. And Scott, thank you, and Innovative MX. I'm blanking our third. We have Bar to Bar. Oh my God, I'm so
Bruce.
stupid. Bruce at Bar to Bar. Yes, thank you. He's got his Kansas Championship race coming up soon. I can't remember when exactly it is, but go to bar2barmx.com. Check that out. KansasMX.com for the KMCS series, and Donnell's Motorcycles Inc.com.
I have no. I think it's Donald's
I think
Motorcycles.
it's just Donnell'sMotorcycles.com.
Call your brother-in-law.
Better yet, why don't you just call him at 816-478-9393.
89393.
Thank you. Yep.
I think it's kind of funny that you just listed off two Kansas racetrack promoters sponsoring the show.
Yeah.
And we're talking Missouri State the whole time.
Well,
I'm just,
I mean,
just,
yeah,
I just,
yeah, it is what it is. Thanks to them. That's it. Goodbye.